Hey, yeah, exactly. Hey, everybody who's muted and cannot say hello back.
Start recording. Um, we will have footage for this state of the server, so it's a thing that is happening. Yes. Um, yeah. We're just waiting on Ajax. Let's see how late he is this time, eh?
Yeah, ever get your bets in now.
Yeah, we will be taking in bets, by the way. Uh, double or nothing, folks.
Did we just have new people join? No, we did. Insane 77. I love when new people join, like, during a state of the server, and everyone's like, you're late to an important meeting that's already...
um, I should probably put the link to the stream in announcements. I'll put that in announcements. Oh.
Cannoli?
Yeah, go ahead and, whoop, pinged. Alright. There we go. If you guys want to watch the stream, nothing too crazy is going to be happening there. But it is there for those who want to watch that. We have some fancy new graphics, you know.
Yeah. Adara, thank you. Yes, I do know what cannolis are. I was just curious why you guys were talking. You mean adding them in-game, like you can cook them? Ah, I see. Yes, I do support that. I used to live in the North End in Boston. For anyone that knows the city of Boston, that's like the Little Italy neighborhood, and I lived down the street from a bakery that was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it was bad. It was really bad. I lost like 10 years. Oh yeah, New England. Skits, where are you from?
Oh. What's with my mic? Is it quiet?
Oh, cool. I'm from Northern Mass.
Fan noise. It's probably a good idea to turn the fan off. Oh man, it's gonna be really hot in my room now.
Who dat?
Should
Not
fly around the
Jack.
server. On the development map, explore the server from below. Epic, that's a pretty decent idea, but maybe not right now.
Oh yes. Also, please upvote that post. Brothel when. Oh, right.
It's been 5 minutes. We'll see where Ajax is.
I'm gonna go punch him in game. Oh, he's off. He's off making announcements about this chat. He's not even in.
Alrighty.
There he
I
is.
think it's about
there he
time to
is.
get started.
There he is.
As tradition demands, I am 5 minutes late.
Whoa, somebody
Wow.
gave the post platinum?
No kidding. That's never happened. Does that mean I have platinum now? Ooh, that's exciting.
That's pretty cool. What does that even... What does that... I mean, it's Reddit currency. It's useless, right?
Oh, you have been added as an approved submitter to Platinum User Club? That's pretty legit. Cool.
All right. Hey, thanks whoever gave us platinum.
But yeah, everyone make sure to go check out the post. I imagine they've already mentioned it, but go give us an upvote. See if we can get new players to just join the server and stay the server. See if they can get some interest in here. Alrighty, well, welcome to everybody. See a lot of returning faces, but also a lot of new faces. This is always fantastic part of the server for the admins. We love to have stay of the server, but we don't want to do it every weekend. We feel that'd be just a little bit too much. So as is usual, about every other month we gather to talk about the server. Now we are going to do something that we have not done in quite a long time. We have not done promotions in almost like a year. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's been quite a while since we've done promotions. So we will go ahead and we are going to start off with the good old promotion ceremony. We'll be displaying the titles in game, and if you're looking at the stream, they'll be displayed there too, and you can also hear us talk about them or read the notes later. So it'll be everywhere. Just watch out for who's going to get their ranks. One of the main differences between this promotion ceremony and some of the previous ones, we aren't going to have specific words to say about all our keepers, mainly because there's just so many of you now, so many new keepers coming about, that if we did, we would be 2 hours before we even got on to the actual state of the server. So, apologies to some of the keepers. We won't be able to say too many words about you. We do appreciate all our keepers, all those players who have been playing with us, who have been here since we launched in, March. And even before that, who've been around for a long time. We love all you guys and all the help you've given by supporting the server. But beyond that, most of the keepers just going to have to go for Vanguard if you want us to actually say a whole bunch of words just about you. But anyway, we can go ahead and get started with State of the Server. So, State of the Server promotion. So what we do is we're going to go through, announce all the new keepers, then we'll move on to the new Vanguards, and then we'll announce anything from there if we have it. So the way it works is anyone who's been playing on the server since the last state of the server is immediately promoted to Keeper as a thank you for being an awesome, loyal member of the Atlas community for so long. And for people who have been Keepers for a while and have shown a massive amount of community support, have helped the server grow, and have done a lot of cool things for the server, we give those players the ability to become Vanguard. And these are just ranks. They're just little promotions for players to recognize how awesome they've been in the community. Beyond there, we have our wardens and our sentinels. We're actually staff positions, which those players actually apply for later on. But anyway, we will go ahead and get started. So the first keeper on this list. Are you ready with the machines?
Yeah, let me get my clicking fingers ready. Hold on.
All right. So we're gonna announce everything in game, in chat and everything. So it'll be all over the place. It's feel free to log in and just hang out on the server while we talk. Totally understand that some of you are probably a bit busy or not in a place where you can log on. But alrighty, without further ado, we will start going and cranking through all these keeper nominations.
All right.
First person on the list, Ditter. Congratulations on being the first new keeper. Been a part of the community for quite some time. Came back recently. I need to stop saying words about all you awesome people, but we'll never get through this.
We're gonna breeze through this. Sorry, guys, but we're gonna
gotta breeze through it. We got a lot to talk about.
Next up, we have.
God, I forgot about that.
Congratulations.
For those not online, the server just restarted. We totally forgot that the server is currently restarting at the wrong time. Good job, admins. Totally got everything figured out.
Definitely.
Good job. Well, that was a solid state of the server, guys. Thank you all for attending. I hope we answered all of your questions.
Ditter, good job on your promotion. Everyone else, better luck next time. All right, we'll go ahead and continue just in the chats here. We'll have Io just throw some names in the state of the server.
Here, I'll do up.
All right, number 2 on the list. Our next keeper, Atya.
Hey, that's our next.
All right. All right. Third one on the list, Shardy and Preston. Craig, throw out all those congratulations for everyone. All these players have definitely earned it. All right. Next one on the list, definitely been around for a while.
Yep.
Elliot 590. Next one,
I'm thinking I should probably pin these people so they or ping these people so they can actually see themselves in the sea of
Oh, that's a good
congratulations.
idea.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ping. If you get pinged by me right now, it means you have been promoted. So congratulations.
Next on the list, Bismar.
Hey, Biz.
That's a thing. And next, Skipper. And Wintershade. And Trevtech. Oh man, we gave this next guy one. Idaco. Nerzul. All these new keeper names, just gonna keep going. Thaddeus.
Oh, that's not his IGN. Whoever Thaddeus, whatever your Discord name is.
King Thaddeus is
King Thaddeus, is that what it is?
yeah. Next one, Alaska. If I pronounce any of these names wrong, by the way, feel free to blast me in chat. Next one, Viserys.
Yeah. Also, apologies if I don't get your Discord name right because it won't actually ping. Keep an eye out.
Next one, Riku. And Vinny the Pooh. And That one's hard for me to pronounce, but 2 letters.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Isn't it Ob,
Discord.
his Discord name?
I think he changed it.
Someone help Bork with the roles. Any of the staff members in here, you guys should have the ability to give people their roles. All right.
All right. Retro
next-
Punk, you're up next.
Clockwork. CSL 4112. Noneki. Zephon. Heliplex. Perks. Totem. And our final one, Cakerson. Now, I know this is not everybody, and we might have even missed some people who have been playing a little bit. Just make sure that you're on a whole bunch. Make sure you're playing. We do appreciate everyone who's been playing, and we know a lot of you have been playing for quite some time. And just keep playing, keep being around, and we promise you'll get your guys your keeper promotions. We thank everyone who's part of the community, but just these guys, we've seen them on a whole bunch, and we felt they deserved a little bit extra recognition. And now, we're going to move on to our Vanguards. Our Vanguards, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, are the players who have been leaders of the community, have really helped bring people into the fold, have always been nice and helpful to new players. And so we've got 3 of these coming up. First one on the list, Adara. Adara has been a member of this community for an incredibly long time, and he's always been interested in helping new players, helping the community grow. Just recently rejoined the development team. So it's we're really glad to get him back in the Vanguard rank. So congrats, Adara.
Just a quick, just because he definitely deserves it, a shout out here. For those of you that are fans of the new gorgeous Bezwin, Adara and Ali built that pretty much single-handedly, as well as the new Reektal. They pretty much built single-handedly as well. So big props to them for doing that during the dev period.
Yep. All right, on to the next one. Kaipen. Kaipen has been throwing out more suggestions than anybody else on the planet. Some of them are a little crazy, but a lot of them are awesome, and he's always been super helpful in the community.
We always love them, no matter how crazy or bizarre they are. So keep them coming, please.
Actually, so I made a mistake. We missed one here. We made a mistake because yeah. So on the admin doc, guys. This needs to happen.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so we actually do have one more keeper. We totally forgot this one because we made a mistake somewhere else. We thought they were already a keeper, but they are not. Kai Silix definitely deserves to be one of the new keepers. So,
Congratulations.
I think I spelled your name right.
alrighty. All right, now on to that final Vanguard. Now remember, just because you didn't get Vanguard doesn't mean we don't like you guys or anything like that. Just these guys really stood out as leaders of the community who are always really trying to help people and are constantly around showing new players what to do. So yeah, we're doing our last Vanguard right now. And that last Vanguard, he just went to sleep, so he's not here, but guitar strings. And
Congratulations.
so this is where I would say we're done with nominations, but we do have one promotion. Now, I know that already gives it away to a lot of you because there's only one person who applied. Congratulations to Digger Doge, becoming our next warden. First one of 2019.
Hey.
He might also be sleeping because he's on the other side of the world, and that's one of the things that's going to make him a great new collection for the staff team, so that we can make sure that we're able to monitor the server regardless of the time of day. Because
So
I know
that
I
we
can't be
can
up all
sleep.
night.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice.
But yeah, all our keepers and vanguards, think about whether or not you're interested in becoming staff members in the future, because we're always looking for more staff members in the future. All right, now we did not have anybody apply for Sentinel, so that will wrap up the promotion ceremony. And as always, we will have them every other month, so those promotions will keep coming, just keep playing, having fun, being great members of the community, and you will get your rank once the time comes. Now it's on to the official state of the server. So, wow, there's 50 plus people in this chat, and a lot of new faces, a lot of old faces. So, a lot of the old faces will know what we're about to do, but this is mainly for those new players. We'll talk a little bit about the history of how Atlas exists and why we're here today, sitting in this chat right now. But, so, many of you know that Atlas was basically a fan project when it began. We were members playing on a different server, and we didn't like the way it worked, and we thought, well, shit, we can do a better job. So that's exactly how Atlas started. Started with a few of us saying, well, we can do that, but we can do it better. And since then, the server has changed to be nothing like the server it initially came from. It's an entirely different mix of things, but you know what? I think we did it better. The amount of people in this chat, the amount of fun that we have working on this, I think we did an amazing job getting started. But ever since that decision was made, almost was it 2.5 years ago? Who remembers how long ago it was? Or is it 3 years?
Give an exact date. Hold on. Let me pull up. That's why I keep this doc of dates. Let me pull this up.
But yeah, Atlas is the project itself is pretty damn old. We've been working on this for quite some time.
Damn, 2.5 years. So 2.5. October 30th, 2016 was the date that we officially started.
Wow. Yeah. So we've been working on this project for a long time. We made a Discord and we got to work. We all just started talking about stuff. And after a few months of work, we had enough stuff that we were ready to release. We launched Alpha, the alpha version of Atlas, back in 2017, I think?
Yeah, March of that year.
March of 2017. And we ran the server for a few months, and it was an entirely different server than what it is today. We had totally different plugins. We had an entirely different quest system back then that was,
Not
only
good.
like yes or no questions, not very good. We had a different version of magic called Spoken Word, which was a fun idea but really bad in practice, where you'd literally type in your spells and combine words. We had a whole bunch of different stuff, and even the map itself was entirely different. The Plains of Anshe, entirely different. Whole areas of the map entirely redone. New things added all the time. It was an entirely different server than it is today. But essentially, we ran that for multiple months, and we decided that the server needed another development period. After the alpha was finished, we realized that there was a lot of work to be done. So we actually shut the server down, and I think it was August.
Yeah, we were up for about 5 months in alpha.
So we went down and we worked on the server till December 16th of that same year for multiple months, and then we launched beta. And beta was the longest running part of Atlas. We ran beta from December
to October of 2018. Yeah, October.
And in that time, we learned a massive amount about the server. We learned a lot of things that we needed to fix, figured out a lot of ways that we can prevent bugs from happening, and we're still making improvements. And we made a lot of improvements from that system. And then in October of that year, we actually entered our second development period, the last development period that Atlas is ever going to go through. We decided that it needed one more development period to fix a lot of big bugs that had popped up that we weren't ready to deal with. But after our most recent launch of March of this year, March 23rd, we recognized that we had got things right enough that no matter what came up, we could always fix it. So the server will no longer be going through any more dev periods. We are officially in release. We mentioned this during the last day of the server, but no worries, you're never going to lose any of your stuff. This is the release of Atlas. And everything that happens will stay around. Or if something bad goes wrong, we'll fix it without needing to start the server. So that's the basic history of Atlas. And if you guys have any other questions about what's happened in the past of Atlas, once we hit our Q&A at the end of the state of the server, feel free to ask any questions you have. But now we're going to move on to the more important stuff, the stuff that's coming up. Now, we know a lot of you guys are super interested to know what's coming up with Atlas in the near future. It's fun to talk about future stuff, and we will later, but one of the big things is talking about the stuff that's coming in the next month and might even be coming a lot sooner. And there's some pretty big things on this list that hopefully a lot of you guys will be very excited about. And one of these almost popped up overnight. The first thing that on this list that we're going to talk about is our new magic system. We realized that despite the current magic system working, it's not quite Atlas. A lot of you guys know Atlas for being the server where you craft and do everything. You design your own stuff. You put things and mix things in different ways to make your own stuff. And the magic system, it doesn't reflect that. Now, we put a lot of work in it to try and make it work well. We tried to make lots of custom spells. T even wrote a whole bunch of custom code on top of the plugin to try and make it work. It just never quite did what we wanted to. So after a late night conversation with Tyr, all of a sudden he comes back basically 48 hours later saying, I've built a new magic system. And he did a great job. The magic system is absolutely fantastic, and it revolves around the idea of being able to craft your spells and your wands so that you can build your magic system to be what you want. What will happen is you will discover a whole list of magic words. If any of you were around for Alpha, this will feel somewhat reminiscent of spoken word, but the system has been fixed to not be abusable and also yeah, no macros, and we've also made it so there aren't spells that are going to be absolutely broken. It's an updated idea on that system, and so you will discover slowly the entire magic dictionary, all the words that you can use to craft your spells, and then you will literally do that. You will use a special special enchanting table. What's the official name for it, Tyr?
Arcane Altar.
The Arcane Altar. You will put a spell book. You will put a spell book on the Arcane Altar, and you will chant words at it to imbue it with spell. And you will be able to cast multiple spells after crafting them. And the wand you use to cast your spells will affect the cooldown. What are the main things it affects here?
So there's a couple new attributes to things like cast effectiveness, cast speed. So cast speed is the cooldown itself of the wand. Cast effectiveness is how much it modifies the effect of whatever you're doing with that magic, whether it be damage or whether it be duration of some sort of buff or anything like that.
Yep. So that's the idea behind magic. You will craft your spells and your wands. Now, the spell crafting will be the most magic part of it. Wand crafting will be fairly straightforward. You'll basically just use a certain recipe and a crafting table to build it. But the big catch there is that the goal is to be able to use all fletchery and all smeltery items to create those wands, which will dramatically affect the way the wand works. So magic is going to be a pretty complex skill that you can use to create just about anything. And magic will still use XP. We are going to probably adjust a lot of values, make things work well, but the system will still use XP. It'll be pretty. You'll use XP both when casting spells, but also when enchanting and creating your spell books. Mm-hmm. But this is an amazing system. As a matter of fact, the plugin is so close to done that we are going to have a demonstration of it in action after State of the Server if you want to tune into the stream to watch Tyr play around with it a little. Yep. It's a really cool plugin. We really hope you guys like it because we've had a massive amount of fun messing around. And yeah, so that will replace the current magic system. One of the big things that's preventing us from putting this new magic system in right away is the fact that, as you guys know, there's a lot of quests around magic, there's a lot of things that build in, so we need to really spend some time to kind of put the new system in place entirely so that it can be learned, so there's quests for it and all that stuff. So it might not come out tomorrow, even though it's the plugin itself is basically ready. But magic system, one of the big things coming very soon. All right, next big thing that is basically done, we just need to do a little bit more integration, is the Nation Embassy. We've been talking about this one for a long time. But the Nation Embassy will be a building in Nauru where every single nation, their banners, their leaders, and their towns are all displayed on pedestals, and players can go up to them, see all the nations, read descriptions about them, and apply to be in those nations there. And this will be a nice system that allows players to more easily join their nations. But there's also a nice part, and this is something that players have been asking about for a while. Nations that win on the leaderboards will have significantly larger display areas in the embassy to show off how cool they are. So if you're the top nation, the top culture nation, something, then you'll be able to show off that, and more players will see that. So you'll actually be able to increase your ability to get new players if you can win on the leaderboard. All right, on to the third one. This one's kind of a two-parter. Duels. The mythical word duels that strikes fear into the hearts of players who don't want to get bugged out. Well, Tyr has entirely rewritten duels and significantly more robust. After spending a few days magically teleporting to places that we never knew existed, duels works very, very well. And it's the duel system is going to be what you guys remember, but it's rewritten. No more bugs in the system, and we're going to be re-adding duels here very soon. And the reason we're going to be re-adding duels very soon is because of the second part of this announcement. We are going to be having another duels tournament, and we will be having it on May 18th, which is about 2 weeks from today. Now, I have a big question. What kind of tournament should it be? Should it be a 1v1 tournament, or should it be a 2v2 tournament? Now, don't scream your answers out in chat, even though I know a lot of you already have, because we have this prepared. Go vote. Let us know what you guys want. Whichever one wins is the way we will run the tournament.
Pinning it before it gets lost in the sea of chat.
Yeah, pin that, and people feel free to repost it if you want. But everyone, go do it. Now, just like the most recent tournament we did, we will have intermissions where we have bigger team fights, stuff like that, a lot of fun duel stuff. But we will have an entire duels tournament on May 18th. Which is the day after my last final, thank God. But so yeah, we will be having the duels coming back so you guys can practice for your duels tournaments. And that stuff will hopefully be added very quickly. Unlike Magic, we don't have to integrate it with quests the same way. So we'll get that re-added real quick. All right, next thing on the coming soon list, RP events. We know a lot of you guys love Atlas for the RP events, the ability to get involved in the story.
Mm-hmm. For those of you that were around during, I forget if our first RP event was during Alpha or if we didn't have that one until Beta. For those of you that remember back to our first couple RP events, they were, obviously players showed up. We actually used our first event to introduce the first iteration of sieges. Before, believe it or not, before guard towers were a thing, before really anything related to sieges was a thing. We had an RP event, released guard towers, which was fun. But the second event was more of like a player choice kind of thing. Some of you guys were there during beta. We had an RP event. For those new players, we had an RP event during our beta period called the Ukrovian Summit. And without really getting into the story, players, there were a couple different pieces to it, but there was a forum vote. There was essentially an NPC town on Atlas that was electing a new leader, and all of the players essentially through a forum vote got to elect their new leader. And the kicker was that depending on who you voted for, whoever won brought a different in-game perk to the NPC town. So one of the perks was like increase the market, so you get more shops, and one of the other perks was like you get a new building that gives you daily quests, and yada yada yada. It kind of choose your own, how does the map move forward? And so players voted for the person who ended up increasing the market, and that kind of became part of our story moving forward. So that's kind of the deal with our RP events. So we really like the idea that RP events are these sort of player events where everybody shows up, and whether it's a single day time or it's like a period of time, like something that happens over a week, like a forum event or something. But where players really get to like change the course of the world. Like you guys get to vote, and we give you guys a scenario where like, hey, here's the thing, and one of these 3 or 5 things is going to happen, and then you guys kind of dictate where you want that to go, and then we kind of move the story in the direction that you guys choose. But we really enjoy that, and we want to continue that. Obviously we've only really had the Ukrovian Summit so far to kind of test that method out, but that's how we want to run RP events moving forward. And we want to have them every couple of months. Like we want to, every few months, we're going to have a big RP event that not only feeds into the main story that's going on, but also gives you guys a chance to kind of jump in and change the world in a sense in a short period of time. So that one will be coming up. It'll be probably sometime closer to the end of this month, but expect that our RP events are going to happen probably one every other month, I would say.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. So RP event coming up. Now, there's 2 more things to discuss. Next one we're going to discuss is chat. This one's a nice, real small one. Just a real quick question. Do you guys like the gray chat, or do you want to go back to white chat? And do you guys like, which color do you guys like the most? And once again, vote on the poll.
Gotta pin it. Gotta pin. There it is.
Gotta pin it before it disappears entirely. Just put it on the poll, and depending on what the results of that look like, we will change the chat color next there, or we'll just leave it gray as it currently is.
Yeah.
And this is
for
the
in-game chat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the current text, like, when you're just talking to people, like most names are white, and then the chat is gray. We can change it back to white, or we can keep it gray, as it has been for a little bit. Just vote, and whatever gets more votes, we'll do. We'll check the votes for both of those polls after the state of the server. All right, on to the final coming soon thing.
Actually, we have one more after this that Bork reminded me of, but we'll talk about it after.
Okay, well, so I'll talk about this next one. 1.14. I imagine a lot of people are interested in what's happening with 1.14 and how we're going to handle some of that stuff. So I'm not sure how much a lot of you look into the community for Minecraft in general on how updates work and servers and all that. The biggest thing that we're currently dealing with is 1.14 being a piece of crap. It's a fun update to play, and it's got a lot of features that we like, but the back-end code is abysmal. The vanilla version of it literally has chunk problems that corrupt your chunks, destroy servers just by running 1.14. So we can't update to 1.14 yet unless you guys would like to not be able to play on Atlas because it explodes. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait for 1.14 to become much more stable. And this might mean that we have to wait for 1.14.1, which will be released by Mojang probably fairly soon. I bet they're already working on it. So once 1.14.1 comes out and then the new versions of the servers are created on top of it, then we will start to update our plugins. And when that happens, some of the things you can expect are going to be things like a smeltery update. The smeltery is going to use the blast furnace now. Instead of being some weird hodgepodge of furnaces, cobblestone fences, and fires, we're just going to use the blast furnace. Now, we might also have the fire still underneath it, but it's going to be blast furnaces so that they look more distinctly different. Along with this, blast furnaces, their 1.14 vanilla functionality will not exist, and this is because it's stupid. It took them an incredibly long time to arrive at this idea of we're just going to have it work twice as well as a furnace, which is just kind of dumb. So we're not going to have that work. So anything that does that really dumb mechanic for 1.14, we're likely going to replace it. Fletchery, instead of using a Fletchery knife, is actually going to use the Fletchery table now. Let's see what else. And we're also going to look into using some of the other blocks in there as well for other things. And we might even develop some new skills based on the new blocks.
Yeah. And just custom GUIs in general is going to be a big thing. We have small things where we've had, like, for example, for those of you that have created a nation, you guys will recognize that is the Anvil GUI right now that it uses for nation creation. Yeah. But there's just small things like that where it's like, the ability to create our own GUI that actually does what we want and is player friendly as opposed to converting something used elsewhere will be a big focus.
Yeah.
And another good one, barrels. We're going to replace our barrels with the actual barrels. So brewery fans, rejoice, you get real barrels now. But yeah, so these are just some of the 1.14 updates.
There is another fairly large one. We are going to have a texture pack for 114. Adara has been hard at work making almost 211 textures in 2 days, something like that. So GG Adara.
Yeah, seriously, GG.
But he will continue cranking on the texture pack, and hopefully we will, if not at immediately at our 114 switch, soon after our 114 switch, we will have a texture pack by Adara. Now the folks music. We will talk about the sound system at a later date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be one. For those of you wondering if we'll ever do our own like music sound design kind of thing, it is in the works. It's just
all right. So.
Oh, sorry.
Do we want to talk about that last one?
I think just to let people know, because I think people were aware of the original stream when it came in. For those of you that were not aware, about what was it, like 3 weeks ago now?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. We had a YouTube streamer named Cafe Stiflerd come onto Atlas, and I did not know his YouTube channel. I'm not big on who streams. I probably should be better about that, but so I checked him out after he Bork is apparently a mod on his server, which is how he found us. But apparently his stream is, you pay him $5. He and his guys come, his team of players come, and they check out your server, and they give you like really honest feedback. They don't pull any punches. They're like, if there's stuff to be improved upon, they'll straight up tell you like, this could be better, do this. But every now and then they'll just look around for servers that they think look cool, and they'll not do the cost. They'll just join the server and check it out and give a review. So that's what ended up happening. Bork is a mod over there, got Atlas kind of into their orbit, and they saw our trailer, and they were like, oh, this is kind of cool. We'll check it out. So they hopped on for a night about 3 weeks ago, him and I think 2 or 3 other players, and he streamed Atlas for about an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. Only got through Naru but from what you could, and you guys can check out the stream. We'll link it.
Bork, if you want to throw a link.
Yeah, Bork, we can link it somewhere here, but it's pretty cool. It's towards the end of one of his streams, where we were in there with a couple other servers, but they really, really enjoyed Atlas. They had a lot of fun he was like reading along with the dialogue and stuff. Like, they were just having a lot of fun with it. One of his guys really liked the magic system. I mean, they kind of all took to different things. So they decided that they want to come back, and they actually want to do like a Let's Play series for Atlas. And they basically want to do like 5 episodes where their team comes back and essentially has a goal, a singular goal, whether that's, beat one of the main quest lines, or beat Kairos, or, do this or that. They want to have like a singular achievable goal that they can do in like 5 episodes. And there's the link. Bork just linked it. But yeah, they're essentially going to do a Let's Play for the server. And so we've just been kind of brainstorming what that could be, what we would want them to try to achieve in 5 episodes. And then they're just going to kind of do what they do, which is, sightsee as they go along, explore all the different facets of the server. So from the sounds of it, Bork, you just say they're looking to do next weekend? Or the following weekend?
But
it will be soon.
Yeah.
Within
just
the
want to let you guys know that we'll have some people coming streaming on the server. It's just a fun way to help grow the community, spread the word more. It's if you guys know other streamers that might be interested, let us know. We're looking to start really pushing Atlas out so we can get more and more people. Alrighty, so now we're gonna move on to the coming later stuff. This is the stuff that we don't think we're gonna have out by the end of the month. And these are pretty interesting things that will be coming later on, and hopefully some of them will be done before May, but we're just not entirely sure or convinced that they can be, so these will come a little bit later down the line. First one is the Naru rework. One of our lead builders, Stamp, the best builder I think any of us have ever seen, he is rebuilding Naru entirely. and we are going to get everything a little bit more well laid out, little bit better for tutorial stuff. You'll know that if you go through the tutorial nowadays, you kind of have to randomly go around a whole bunch, and it's kind of confusing. So he's going to rebuild us Naru in a way that's a lot easier for us to use for basically everything. And that will come with, new places for stuff, but it'll allow us to make the entire Naru feel better, look better, and do stuff. It's for those that don't know, Naru was actually, the first thing that was ever built for Atlas. That first day we all came together, we knew we were going to need to spawn, so we all logged in and we all started working on Naru. So it does feel like some mixing and matching of styles. That's why it was.
It's
built 100%. By all of us.
I think, yeah, and also I think almost every builder that has been on the build team at some point or another had some hand in Naru. So yeah, it's definitely the biggest hodgepodge of builds of anything.
But yeah, so that's one of the first things that comes up in the coming later section. Might be done this month, we're just not sure, so we decided to put it on the list a little bit later down the line. And we might have a lore event that goes along with that, maybe not, we'll see. But yeah, so that's coming up. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to skip this one and go to the next two because this next one's going to be a little bigger. So next on the list is leaderboards. So some of you are probably curious. We haven't talked too much about leaderboards, and there's some things on there that don't work, or the score seems a little bit weird. I'm going to be releasing a lot of updates to have things like training on there. Duels will count as training scores, so whoever wins the most duels will be able to have the highest training score. We're going to have other mini games as well eventually. But I'll also be changing up some of the leaderboard stuff. We're actually going to replace the luxury one with questing, so that players actually get points for doing quests instead. We'll also be removing the combat one, the killing other players, because while we agree that killing other players can be fun, we also feel it's kind of not what we want to encourage players to go and mindlessly do. We want people to kill each other, but we want them to do it with reason other than just, I want 250 points. So we're going to be removing that one in favor of a new mechanic, which I will talk about in a second. But yeah, beyond that, I'm just going to change up the leaderboard scores. I don't like the way the current leaderboard system works, where the scores never get higher than about 200k on the main leaderboards. I want those to get higher. I want that to be, a better, all your stuff. It represents everything a little bit better. So leaderboards will be getting some reworks that are basically just going to be new adjustments for the way points look. We might also make it so some of the base skills, they give more or less experience so that all the skills feel a little bit more balanced. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to, or leaderboards in the future. Next, the main storyline. We're actually going to be releasing more main storyline chapters. Io, anything in particular you want to talk about there?
Yeah, so I'm sure some of you have at least started the main story quest lines for whatever faction you ended up. I think I know one person has finished, or one person for each of the factions has finished the quest lines. I don't know how many people have finished them. I imagine that now that our TPS is back and spawn rates are not as bad anymore, that people will actually start to finish the main quest lines. But our sort of schedule moving forward is that we are going to regularly be releasing new chapters to the main story. Obviously, our big sort of overarching story going on right now is the War of Athera. The world is in a giant war. You've had to choose your side. So for those of you that have finished the first chapter of quests, it's become apparent that that's not the end of the War of Athera story. There's obviously a lot more to come. So like lore events, every couple of months, we're going to be releasing a new chapter. And we're going to be sort of advancing the story forward. So, regardless of whether you finish the main first chapter of the main story or not, come summertime, we are going to be releasing chapter 2. It's going to move forward, just adding more content. Yeah. And then also for those of you that don't know or have not sort of recognized this in the playing through some of the quests, our NPCs in the world actually phase. And just a quick, for those of you that don't know what phasing is, basically if you kill an NPC for a certain quest, in Talaria, for example, we now have the ability to make that NPC not appear for you anymore because you've killed them, But someone else who's standing in that same spot who hasn't killed that is seeing an entirely different reality, and they see that NPC still existing. So we actually have the ability to kind of phase the world in a way that MMOs do, in a way, and it's kind of helped. It's been kind of a new feature in 1.13, and it's kind of helped us make more interesting quests and stuff moving forward. So the storyline, as players choose different branches and things like that, is going to change the world for them, and you guys are going to kind of get to experience cool stuff moving forward. So expect that every couple of months you guys are going to have a lore event, and then very soon following that RP event, you guys are going to get a new chapter of the story, all leading up to our next expansion, which we can talk about later on.
Awesome. All right, so this is the final one. I've seen a lot of questions about this stuff, so we're going to take a little bit of extra time to talk about this because this is actually pretty important, and it's actually going to signal a fairly interesting change in direction for one of our largest mechanics. And, of course, I am talking about sieges. Sieges have been a very, very interesting topic for the entire life of Atlas because they weren't around in Atlas, and they were around for some of Beta, and we have not yet reintroduced them currently. A lot of you are under the impression that you just haven't reached the threshold. Well, that's not the case. It's not actually running on the server currently. Now, it is true that we do not consider any of the current nations above that limit, but as I'm about to talk about, it's not going to matter anymore. One of the biggest problems we've had with sieges since the beginning is that sieges are this system that force you to fight or you pay the price. And while you being able to surrender or stay under a limit feels okay, it feels kind of bad. It means that if you're not the one who's interested in fighting, then you're either limited in size or you have to pay people. It doesn't quite follow the design philosophy that we've had for Atlas. That is, anybody can play here, anybody can have fun, and you shouldn't be punished for not participating in mechanics that you're not a fan of. And so we are going to be moving sieges to an entirely opt-in, opt-out system. Now, this isn't as simple as typing in /opt-out or /opt-in. Now, that would be crazy. As a matter of fact, we're actually going to change something very, very key and central to the siege system, and it's the focus. The focus on sieges up until this point has been on stealing your opponent's wealth. The focus on sieges in their town. And there's been a lot of problems that have come with that, where we've had to make it so you can't make bank towns, make it so you can't move stuff, so you have to have sieges that start real quickly. A lot of problems that come around all this wealth and how that stuff works. And so late one night, Macus and Mars came up with the idea of this opt-in, opt-out system that revolves around relics. Now, what is a relic? What does it mean? We will talk about that. So, relics are going to become the new focus of sieges. When you go to siege somebody, you're not aiming to steal their stuff. That will be possible to some extent, which I'll explain, but the main focus is a relic. Now, relics are incredibly powerful items that give bonuses to your entire town or nation. And they can do things like make it so your crops grow faster, or you can grow any crop in your town next to the relic. You'll be able to do things like get free items spawning from relics. There's so many cool ideas. As a matter of fact, we're looking for more ideas for relics. Obviously, they can't be too overpowered, but they can be powerful. And these relics will be the focus of sieges. What will happen is players will fight over the relics, but this is where the beauty of the system is, because it becomes opt-in, opt-out, because if you don't have a relic, then you cannot be sieged. So the way this will work is that there will be two ways to acquire relics. Relics will exist in the world naturally, and you will be able to go through a difficult process to attain them. I say difficult process as a very vague term because we're still working on some of this stuff. You'll have to either go through a dungeon, have to accomplish some fairly difficult task, or pay some significant amount of money. Or something that makes it so some random person's not going to stumble upon the relic and just get it. But you'll also be able to steal relics through sieges. And an important note about relics, by the way, they will reset. Relics will reset every couple weeks to their original location, which means that you will have to continuously obtain them. And obviously it'll mean that you'll lose its benefit for a day. It takes you a day to re-get the relic. But you'll just have to go re-grab it from where it was. You might have to fight some people for it. But this is to keep it from all the relics from just accumulating in one place and not being any amount of work to go and grab them all. But relics are going to be great for this opt-in, opt-out system because there is now a very easy way for new nations to get into the siege system without really risking too much. If you are a new nation and you are interested in relics and getting into siege and all that stuff, then you just pick a nation that has a relic and you go siege them. Now, this is interesting because they can't siege you back because you don't have a relic. Now, this works because the focus is the relic. With relics being the focus of the system, it means that if they fail to steal it, well, then they didn't get anything. And if they do manage to steal it, well, then you can immediately siege them back and take it. So being sieged by somebody who has a relic, being sieged by somebody who doesn't have a relic isn't going to feel unfair because if they fail, well, then they walk away with 0, nothing. And they might even have lost a lot of armor and stuff from the siege. So there's no super scary factor of being a new nation who wants to get involved in the system. And you also get the ability to entirely opt out forever. And this is why we have decided to switch to this relic system. Now, I imagine there's going to be a million questions about this, and we are going to answer a whole bunch of them.
We can go over some of the more mechanical parts of this new system.
I want to wait for questions to answer a lot of these because a lot of this stuff is going to be edge case, unless there's some main function. Actually, there's one part of main function I want to mention, but a lot of this is going to be edge case. I prefer to wait for them.
I would rather talk about spawning real quick. So spawning, in terms of where these relics spawn and stuff like that, the current scheme for this is they will spawn randomly in the wild. And
still up for debate.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned.
Again, that is the current scheme. Can be changed at any point. So they will spawn in the wild, and there will be some sort of broadcasting system that will let everybody on the server know where the location of that relic is. And then you can, at that point, go and attempt to capture that relic. Once you've captured that relic, you have to bring it back all the way to your town, and you can place that down, and you will get the benefits of having that relic. When you, just to be 100% clear, you do need to have, you are made sure that you do know that you are opting into sieges by getting a relic. What that looks like, we don't necessarily know yet, but it is going to be very clear.
We're not going to allow any new nation to accidentally enter the siege system. One of our main ways of making it so nations are very clear on entering the siege system is that we will force the nation, before being able to bring the relic into their town to get its benefit, they have to set up their vulnerability windows. And this is the next part that I want to talk about. We've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate it because it's fairly important. With the relics and the way the system works, we have this thing called a vulnerability window. And a vulnerability window is essentially the way in which you can tell people, hey, these are the times we're okay being attacked. And the reason this system will work this way is because there's nothing that's going to feel worse than getting a relic, doing everything the hard way, and then in the middle of the night, someone just comes and steals it. Be super crappy. Nobody wants to deal with that. So instead, players are going to determine their vulnerability windows. Now, these are going to be fairly small windows that only come up a few times a week. And it'll be a total of somewhere like 6 to 12 hours. We're still deciding exactly how big they are, and it will be flexible and changeable as we watch the system work. But essentially, you'll say, well, yeah, we have a lot of players who play from 4 to 8 on Saturdays. So that's going to be one of the times that we allow people to siege us. And through the system, everybody will be able to have a fighting chance defending their relics, defending their town from siege. And I think that's most of the main mechanics behind this. Now, there's a lot of little details on a lot of edge cases and questions I know that a lot of you guys have. I promise you we've thought about all that stuff. As a matter of fact, this system has been talked about for an incredibly long amount of time, as we have with every version of Siege. What is this version? 50? We've reinvented this mechanic quite a lot because we constantly find things that either break old systems or ideas were wrong, but we've slowly been moving in the right direction, and I think this might be one of the final steps in that right direction. But yeah, post all your questions, and we will get to them right now. Yeah, that is the end of all the stuff that is currently being worked on and coming up with. And we're about an hour in. I think we're doing pretty well on time. And so we'll spend about the next hour looking at questions. So this is when all the questions will begin. And I'm not going to go back and look at all the questions that have already been posted. So starting now, I will be answering questions. So if you have questions you want answered, you're going to have to go grab them and repost them. It's just too much stuff.
We do have a doc with all of the questions.
Do we have a doc with the questions on? I wasn't sure we were doing that.
It's pinned at the very top.
Just kidding, guys.
Just kidding. I'm going back to the top. Got you guys good with that one.
It is
I thought you were
also,
gonna have to retype your question.
So
it is also possible that some of these questions were answered already. I had somebody come into my room and was talking to me for like 15-20 minutes, so I missed out on a large section of notes. So please do excuse me if some of your questions have already been answered, but we had to
Right, so we're not perfect, but we'll go ahead and dive into these questions. So first one on the list. Are there any plans in the works for additional skill plugins beyond what we currently have? There are not any current plans for new skills. Now, there are plans to update and fix some of the problems with current skills. I know one thing that players are definitely still upset about is no smeltery weapons. That's going to get fixed as soon as we get the 1.14 stuff for smeltery, because I want to just kind of do all that stuff together. Rediving into a big plugin and making changes can be difficult, so I prefer to do it all at once. So it does mean we'll probably have to go another week or two without smeltery weapons, but once we have them, everything with smeltery will be updated for 1.14 and such.
The same goes for brewery. I know players have been asking when are brewery vendors going to, like, when is alcohol going to become a sellable item again? Brewery it's kind of the same deal. We have to dive into it. We really want to do some big updates to it and make it just good. Because Ajax, as Ajax has mentioned before, brewery originally was written by a madman. So we have a lot of extensive work to do to it, but they will be back. We do just have to do some extensive work to the brewery plugin in general. I will say one skill that will be added that we've kind of foreshadowed for you guys now with the new magic stuff is spell crafting.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah.
So wand crafting is going to fall under fletchery. I think you're going to make because wands are going to be kind of a very simple crafting. There's going to be a lot of different wands you can make, but they're not going to be very difficult. It's just going to be made with a fletchery knife at a crafting table. But the actual spell books that you make, as Tier Ajax kind of explained earlier, that is going to be its own unique skill called spell crafting, and that's where you're going to use the arcane altar and chant the books and make your spells.
It'll be on the leaderboards. It'll be treated like a normal new skill like everything else. I forgot about it since we already talked about it. There's no other new ones beyond that one. All right. Is there an ETA on the new magic spells and quests? The plugin is done, but we still have to test and get things integrated. There's a lot of lore and stuff that goes around magic.
Plugin is, for the most part, done.
Yeah. But we don't normally give out ETAs on mechanics like this, because one of our design philosophies in the development team is that we don't want to push people to be working on things harder than they would naturally want to, because that's how you burn people out, especially when all of this stuff is just supposed to be fun. If we're not having fun working on this stuff because it's too pressured or we have to give the deadlines, really makes it less fun. The only time we do it is for really, really big things like the release of the server. All right. Are there any plans on the idea of boss drops or RNG related to dungeons?
There is. I do know the answer to this one. There is a dungeoning update that we have planned for the future. We're not entirely sure when that will happen yet, but we do have plans to actually update and rework what dungeons look like overall, not necessarily from a build standpoint, but from a loot standpoint, from what they're used for per se. We do have plans for that.
Yeah.
This next question I can kind of take, because I know we have our sort of short-term plans for mini games, but also specifically because this question is: are there any plans in the works for PvP mini games? If so, can we hear about ideas or plans for them? The answer to that is yes. We have for a while had ideas for very Atlas-specific PvP mini games, especially with some of our new story stuff. In the short term, we are looking into some mini games just to have as part of the server that we will still custom make, but they won't be, that their own sort of thing. But we have had plans for sort of battleground type mini games that kind of link into like the story and the world, that are more PvP related, as opposed to just your typical like Hunger Games and Bed Wars. And like, we're not going to have the mini games that you would see on any other hub server. Like if we're going to do it, we're going to have our own custom things that kind of link into the Atlas lore, at least a little bit, because we don't want to just be another hub server. That's kind of against our whole.
I'll take the next question.
I'll go ahead and read it quick. Are there any plans to change fletching to be more transparent? Seems like a lot of people just don't bother with it because it's very unclear what various. Well, I can go ahead and answer this one since I've made the Fletchery plugin. I mean, like a lot of our mechanics, you're supposed to figure some things out. We don't want everything to be so apparently obvious that you don't have to do any experimenting or figuring out for yourself. Now, we do have plans to expand Fletchery, make there be more things to do with it, since we feel it's pretty constricted right now. But we're not going to give people probably more information about stuff. You're supposed to try and figure it out, and players have absolutely figured out what every single bow does. And that's kind of part of the point, is that players are rewarded for putting in that extra effort to figure out how mechanics work that way. Anything you want to add to that, Tyr? Does that sound good?
Yeah, so again, I think Fletchery is going to be receiving a rework along with when the magic system is kind of introduced, as well as kind of additions with 1.14 with crossbows being added. So
true.
there might be some things that get changed there, and that's all depending on the discussions that happen in the dev team meetings. For now, I'm not going to say anything against what Ajax said here. But things can change. They're always up for debate. There's always room for improvement. So.
Yeah. Okay. But in case, because I know some of you are probably curious, we will talk about things that, because we have massive development discussions about all of the mechanics on Atlas. It's just that there are certain ones that are currently being pushed and worked on more than others. So the reason we don't talk about the Fletchery at all, even though we have discussed it, is because it's just not a main focus we have right now. But with 1.14, it's very likely it'll receive some reworks and stuff because of the new items being added, but also just because we feel that Fletchery could be better. It's one of our smallest skills that is mostly not used, and we definitely want to change. Are the invisible mobs throwing tridents and carrots?
I'll answer this one since this is my fault. Yes, and I will fix this. For those of you wondering, so we use mythic mobs obviously as a mobs plugin. Previously, what was happening is with the 1.14 update, a random occurrence was any mob that used a base mob of a zombie would run into the unfortunate effect that if it stayed in water, it would turn into a drowned, and then it would no longer be a mythic mob, it would just be a drowned. And so that's what was happening with the poison water in Kairos, and so I was like, oh, I'll just change it to a drowned, and of course that means that now they throw invisible tridents, so yes, I will be fixing that. I apologize. I actually completely spaced on that, so sorry to people who've been running Kairos and getting hit with tridents the last couple of weeks. That's my bad. I will fix that tonight, I swear. ETA on world and lore events. We touched on this. Touched on this a little bit. Expect the lore event in the next month and the next chapter of the main story within the next 2 to 3 months.
When will smeltery weapons be fixed? As I mentioned, it's going to be fixed with the 1.14 updates. I know some of you want your smeltery weapons earlier than that, but it's just a lot easier from a development standpoint to do that all in one go.
Again, we've also answered all of this for plans regarding 1.14. Can we expect any changes to the economy to make gems easier to obtain? No.
We already think gems are too easy to obtain. It's if you're having trouble getting gems, then we highly recommend doing some more research. There are lots of nations that have no trouble.
And I'll just throw this out there because I know this is the bar that some people are using now. The cost of luxury items should not be your bar of whether you're making enough money. If you can't afford luxury items, don't think that you're not doing something right. Luxury items are meant to be an investment that are exorbitant. And if you look at the cost of a luxury item and go, "Oh my god, that is ridiculously expensive," good. They're supposed to be there to be something that they're not going to give you a huge advantage in game. They're just something that's really cool that you can buy, that's really unique for your nation. And we're not looking to have one nation be able to afford every single luxury item in the game, because then it's just not that interesting. We'll continue to add things, but they will also be exorbitantly expensive. But we will also add. I will say this: we're not going to make it easier to make gems, but we will add new ways to make gems. That is something that we will always look at, because economy is a big thing on Atlas. And while we want it to be not easy to just log in and collect 1,000 gems, we are always interested in new and kind of unique ways for players to create gems, because we don't think there should just be one or two ways to make money.
Yeah, and the only piece of advice I'll give people who are having trouble making gems: do everything. There is no reason that you should be only sticking to one way of making gems, because a lot of the methods for making gems can be done simultaneously. And it's one of the reasons why crops don't necessarily make that much money. It's because you plant them, leave them, and you go do something else. So they're almost more of just a bonus on top of whatever else you're doing to make gems. So yeah, you use a lot of different ways to make money. And as I mentioned, we're going to add a lot more.
Will anything be done to ensure that players of all skill levels and activity levels will be accommodated? Not entirely sure what you mean by this. If you're talking about sieges, the relic system should lend itself to this. In terms of just normal gameplay, I mean, you have to play to actually get anything, just as any other game.
There's one thing I'll mention about this, and this is something that comes up all the time. This idea that the more you play, the more of an advantage you have, the harder it is for somebody to catch up. And we do a lot of stuff to allow new players to be able to get into the game and compete on a high level. It's a reason something like bronze armor exists. You can basically make it out of gravel, and yet it's pretty damn strong smelter armor. There's a lot of mechanics that are built into the game that allow new players to play at a decently high level. But at the end of the day, Minecraft is a game about collecting resources. And so in this game, the more you play, the more activity you have, the more stuff you're going to have. And there's no way we can combat that unless we make Atlas a minigame server where items can't be accumulated. And I imagine you guys aren't in favor of Atlas becoming high-pick. So we will do everything we can to allow new players who don't play as much, who may not have all the certain skill sets, we'll give them ways to play on Atlas and have fun, but you'll never be able to be on the same level of somebody who's amazing at everything and plays all day. There's just no way we can entirely bridge that gap, and it would also cheapen the experience of spending that time to be that good, to get all those items. So if that's not what the question asks, apologies for wasting your time when you asked the question, but hopefully that answers some of the questions. Can we get Bed Wars as one of the pieces?
I'll answer this one because it's simple. No.
Yeah. We're not going to add Bed Wars, guys. Any minigames we add to Atlas are going to be very well ingrained in our lore, or kind of replace something in our lore that we think is fun. So is it possible there might be a game mode that's similar to Bed Wars? Maybe, but it's not going to be called Bed Wars, and you're certainly not going to be destroying beds.
Can we get cannolis as a cooking recipe?
I support this.
Sure, why not? We'll look into it.
This next one is a really good question, actually, that I'm sure we talked about the answer a few weeks ago, but I forget.
The server gained since the last state of the server?
That's a tough question. It's a super tough question because we have logs of all the players who have joined, but we don't have any tools to visualize that data currently. So as of right now, we can't necessarily tell you. But Atlas has seen a lot of awesome players, and but it's an ongoing journey where we're continuously looking for new people to get involved and stuff like that. But yeah, Atlas is doing really well. It's been awesome to see so many players joining and playing on the server. Now, we know that right now it's the end of the semester for everybody. I imagine a majority of the people in this chat are in school, whether it be college, high school, whatever. And so lots of players are sitting here like, man, I don't even have time to be at this day of the server. I have finals coming up. I got stuff to be working on. And that's one of the reasons player counts have probably been a little bit lower this past week. It's because people are super busy. But as we enter into summer, we're going to be looking to find even more new players and get people involved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are we getting merchants in our capital towns? All right, this is something that we've actually been doing a decent amount of talking about. We have a lot of ideas that we haven't, obviously we didn't talk about it during our main feature releases, so it's still something that's being discussed pretty much, but we have done some decent looking into adding merchants, both like player shops and the Grand Exchange, which is an old mechanic from beta that some of you probably remember. We've been looking into ways to bring those back, and we've been looking at making them basically a landmark in town. So how you got your town your town hall, once you reach a certain level, you'd be able to purchase the merchant area, and you'd place down the building, and it would come with an NPC who's your merchant, and do some stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But again, this is stuff that we're still talking about this, so it's not. Who knows? If we put enough effort into it, it might happen in May, but it also might not. We just don't know because we haven't put the time to it.
Real quick, speaking about landmarks, there will be some new landmarks coming soon. No real set date around those. It's just when I get time and when I feel super inspired to do so. In terms of the player shop system, it is done, per se. We just haven't figured out a way to, integrate it within Atlas. There are still some things that we want to do there.
All right,
cool
pierogies for cooking.
Yes.
Sure,
Also
why not? You guys really like cooking. It's, are
Which is awesome.
Are you considering adding siege, heavy weaponry for or naval battles? No, we have not looked at any of this stuff yet. It's not bad ideas. Honestly, I love this stuff, but there's definitely some pretty big problems in the way of making them just immediately kind of happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, naval battles are kind of tough when ships can't move, and heavy siege weaponry and all that stuff, well, what does that really look like? What does that do? But I love the ideas, and I'd love to see suggestions that flesh out those ideas, talk about how they would really work, how you would make everything make sense. Please go ahead, post on the forums your suggestions about stuff.
Yeah, and
Netherrack added to Purgatory when? It was going to happen 2 hours ago, and I forgot, so tomorrow. It's actually already been done. We were just testing it.
We have
Purgatory just got
updates, right? Yeah.
Purgatory has been completely reworked. It now includes Netherrack and Bedrock. So if you're mining around, you might just hit some Bedrock and stop if you're not paying attention. And if you mine Netherrack, it'll steal a stack of cobblestone from your inventory. You'll also randomly be teleported to the surface. You'll also randomly have your pickaxe thrown. So for those of you who have been to Purgatory, you probably don't want to go back even more than you didn't want to before, because it sucks a lot more now. There is no longer a way to mindlessly mine. Purgatory sucks.
Yeah, so
everyone,
don't break the
rules.
Yeah.
Just follow the rules, be good to each other, and you'll never have to deal with the new hell that is improved Purgatory.
Greek fire when? What is Greek fire?
Are we adding dragons?
Actually, here's an interesting. Yeah, here's an interesting thing. There's obviously the Azure Storm. For those of you that have done the character quest line, there's a dragon weekly boss that's kind of in its own arena. But there is actually an overworld dragon world boss that no one has found yet. Actually, I would be very curious. Has anyone found any 3 of the world bosses, or have none of them spawned? Because their spawn rates are very, very, very low. Skipper, the one in the trailer is the Azure Storm, which is the quest one. That is not the world boss one. There's a separate one. Wow, interesting. All right, maybe the spawn rates are too low. So I may boost up spawn rates, but there are actually several world bosses that are really difficult but drop really expensive loot. And they spawn in really extreme biomes, which may be another reason that players haven't found them. But I will just say, yes, we have thought of dragons. Just to touch really quick on the idea of naval battles and Greek fire, since it's been brought up a couple times. One of the big reasons, because I know players will probably bring this up, there are plugins that exist that are like moving ships. And we have looked into them before, but the issue with it is that for anyone that's actually tried them, they're so glitchy. and so stupid looking. It's like a chunk just moves over at like a rate of 1 FPS, and it's just it wouldn't even be worth it for what they do because it just looks so dumb and is so dumb in game. So it's something that if we are ever able to do, we absolutely will do because it's such a cool aspect. But we're waiting for either that capability to come out or for us to create that capability.
Yeah,
So.
I know Macus and Mars have done some looking into it, so who knows? Maybe one day they'll get super inspired and just go make it happen. But
yeah, so it's not off the table because we hate the idea. It's just the capability isn't there yet.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Can we add broomsticks, please? No,
I'm
those
skip
are abusable.
Are we going to keep the training leaderboard? Yes, it's going to include duels and future mini games. Is it possible for us to get access to all of the quest scripts to help with player lore? I think that's an IO question.
What do you mean access to all of the quests? You mean like the whole for the server?
It might be a little much. It gives a lot away.
Yeah, if that is the question, then no. I would say if you're looking, I mean, honestly, if you want to get access to the quest scripts for lore purposes, do the quests. That's the best possible thing. Like if you're interested in lore and your player wants to know about something lore related and you can find out that lore in game, do it. I mean, it's there. And if you guys have the capability of resetting, if you want to do multiple different factions or change the faction that you did because you hate it, try them all out. I definitely suggest, like, if you have the gems and the time and the willingness to do so, try out all of the main quests because they definitely all give a benefit.
Yeah.
All right. Villager skin usage, maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
Kaipen need more
I do know what Kaipen is talking about here. Kaipen was like a week, maybe 2 ago. Kaipen was asking if we would be utilizing the villager skins with 1.14, the new villager skins. I don't think we're going to be bringing testificates into Atlas because Io really hates the look of testificates. So yeah, we will not.
They're weird nose mutants. Why does anyone like villagers?
Yeah, so testificates. I don't believe testificates will be making their way onto Atlas. Yeah, we're just going to. We definitely could, but that would require Optifine.
Look, the villagers. Do they look? Do I hate them? Yes, because they look weird. But again, like. They're not off the table. Like, we may bring them in, but like if we do, they're not going to be human because those weird nose mutant things definitely aren't humans. But we may bring them in the future as some other race.
Yeah. There's some different things that we can do. For now, we're gonna go with no. When are we gonna get the rest of tannery, smeltery, and materials, recipes, and weapons? Okay.
What makes you think there's anything else in there? Maybe that's all we have. But seriously, we will be releasing them, and we will be releasing new recipes and materials. I've actually got a lot of ideas for when the new magic stuff releases. I haven't been releasing any just because we've been trying to, get the server stable and making sure everything works and trying to get everything set up properly, but it's very possible that, we can start doing little releases with them, and we will probably do them with other big releases just to make them even cooler. But I could actually see some new recipes being released with 1.14 with the magic stuff coming up. So there will be some of that stuff coming up. But important note for smeltery stuff: there won't be any weapons even if new ones are released yet, because it's actually right now significantly easier to add new armors than it is to fix weapons. But yeah, so we'll see some of that stuff.
Smoker as a cooking oven.
Sure, why not? It makes sense.
That will be the case.
I would love to see that. How's the folk music?
Amazing. As always.
Amazing as always. Yes, the sound system we will be touching on the sound system at a later date when we actually, dive a little bit more into that. Some very basic stuff has been kind of done. in terms of laying out some of the groundwork, but nothing
Yeah.
substantial enough to actually say anything about it.
Well, one thing I do want to mention, just because it's something basic we have mentioned before, but music. Obviously, we want to do our own music, which we are working on, but sound in general, we are going to have ambient noise as part of maybe not the first iteration of the texture pack, but it is something we're going to work towards. So outside of music, just the idea of world noises. So if you're in a town, like a dock town, for example, you'll hear bells and waves and people talking and footsteps on dock. You know what I mean? There'll just be ambient sounds that exist in the world to kind of give you more of that immersive feeling, and then eventually music, hopefully down the line.
Yeah. Are you making a new trailer?
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Yep. Stay tuned. Why is trailer in quotations here?
Because what you're making doesn't really count as a trailer.
Will we get to see our own nation's points position on the board outside of the top 10?
Oh, that's a good question. We talked about this before, actually. I'll throw this to Ajax, but valid question.
Let's see here. Because I forget what I've done. Yeah, let me do something here. Hopefully this works and doesn't crash the server. We're going to see.
Please don't scare me like that.
What? I didn't scare anybody. Okay, well, this doesn't work. All right, wait, does it? No, it doesn't. So, there's supposed to be a command that allows you to look up your leaderboard stats in game. Doesn't work. So yeah, I'll fix that, and you guys can look up your own points and your stuff on the leaderboards, because we definitely want you guys to be able to see that stuff. But yeah, there are some leaderboard commands for in-game stuff, so you can look at that as well.
Will we get to see our will sieges be easier to access as far as I know? This was answered with the relic system. Will previous
quests
count
toward points for the first month? So previous quests count towards points for the first month.
Again, this was a question that was asked during the time that I looked away from notes, so I don't know if it was already answered or not.
No, it wasn't. So this was, I think, in reference to having quests on the leaderboards.
Mm-hmm.
We won't retroactively be adding any points to any system, mainly because it's kind of impossible in some instances. Like, we currently aren't tracking which points everyone got from which quests. So it'd be incredibly hard to go back and re-add all those without an incredible amount of difficulty.
But for players who are worried about whether they shouldn't do quests now because it won't, we'll be adding when we do add the quest leaderboard, we will be adding in a lot of daily quests and repeatable quests and new quests for players to be able to actually compete at the leaderboard if they've done quests. So don't feel like you should not do quests because you will not get those points or whatever. The main quest will give points, but the real sort of continuing pointage for the quest leaderboard will be the daily, weekly, repeatable, war quests that you do.
One thing that this exists for is because we want new players to be able to compete on some leaderboard, and so this is a way for new players to be able to compete with other players because they do have the ability to score more points on it, and it'll encourage you nations to recruit more of those new players so that they can help you win those leaderboards if you want.
Yeah.
Will there be a set finite amount of relics?
Yes.
There will be a finite amount. It will change. We'll be adding new ones as the server grows and such, but we will have only a certain amount available.
And then relics are structures in the wild. We did talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
If the intention behind the reset is to prevent them from being held for an indefinite period of time, what prevents said nation holding it from just continuing to get it over and over again? That's actually the point, is that we want a nation to have to go reclaim it over and over again. This acts as a partial barrier against this idea of one nation holding them all, because if they want to do so, they're going to have to spend a significantly larger amount of time continuously reclaiming them. Mm-hmm. It just makes it a little bit easier for everybody to have access to the system.
And also, another aspect we talked about is the relic. There will be a set number of places that relics respawn, but the same relic will not necessarily respawn in the same place every time.
Hold on. Biss just clarified his question. What prevents them from always holding them?
Oh, they run out. So they reset after a certain amount of time.
Right,
You're holding
so, like,
on to a relic, and that varies from relic to
once you grab it, right, and you hold on to it for a week from the time that you actually bring it into your town, then it goes back into the wild. You don't get to keep that. It disappears from the world. I don't know if that answers what you're saying there, Biz.
All right, we'll move on and come back if there's more questions.
That's the point. We don't.
Yeah. So for example, Biz, there will be, and this is not the number, but I'm just throwing it out there. Let's say there's 20 relics, 20 different relics. That means there's 20 places in the world where relics will spawn. When relics respawn, when your relic respawns, or whether it's all relics respawning at once or relics respawning individually, it won't be in the same place every time. So unless you have players who can go to 20 locations simultaneously, then you're not necessarily going to be able to just run back to the same spot and get your relic every time.
It's going to allow more people to be involved in the system. Mm-hmm. Yes, they could get it over and over again, but this system just makes it a little bit harder for them to do that. So that more people can be involved.
There will also be a lot of public knowledge as to A, where relics are, and B, what relics are in the wild at any moment. So if a relic gets reset and leaves the town, everybody in the server is going to know about it because they will be told, hey, this relic is moving to the wild, or there are this many relics in the wild, or whatever it ends up being. There will be a large amount of notifications that tell the players, hey, there are relics up for grabs. Here they are. Go grab them.
But at the end of the day, the thing is, like, you will have to go siege nations to steal relics from them. Mm-hmm. And so it's always possible, too, that we can make changes to the system that do put limits on how many relics a nation can have, so that it is forced that you guys actually, everyone can start to get them. But the system is meant to allow very active nations to have an advantage over super powerful nations, because the two things are not necessarily directly equivalent. There are a lot of incredibly active nations that wouldn't be considered the most powerful nation right now, and I would prefer to give that super active nation an advantage. And by making it so that the relic is continuously reset every now and then, they have more of a chance to be able to go get those. All right, moving on to the next question. This next one, if that nation is a strong nation, what prevents them from doing this with all the other relics at the time? This kind of falls in line with that. I think we've kind of covered that one as well. Yeah. So what does this have to do about taking your items if the focus is relics? So this is a little bit of a clarity point for this stuff. So there's two different ways in which sieges will kind of start. There's either a relic-only focus or a relic and loot focus. Relic and loot focus is only unlocked if both nations taking part in the siege, both the attackers and the defenders, already have relics. In which case, the 10% looting threshold will still apply. So if you have a relic and somebody with a relic attacks you, they will be able to steal the relic, but they will also be able to do normal 10% item stealing with the siege. And the reason we did this to keep some focus on loot and not just entirely remove focus is because we like the fact that players do have to build vaults for their items, that they do have to worry about defenses for their items and keeping their stuff safe. So we do want to still have that feature. We just want the relics to be a bigger focus than the loot itself. All right, let's see here. So are you going to be re-enabling sieges after its upcoming update? Yeah, as soon as this update is ready, we're going to put it in. But yeah, so as soon as it's ready, we're going to have it out. Now that means getting testing done and a lot of others. But yeah, it will get. Will you make a rule against players making shell nation? What do you mean by? So I imagine a shell nation is kind of like a bank nation, something kind of on the side where you store your items. Given that it's no longer the focus of sieges, that's totally okay. We're actually not going to try and stop people from running their own little bank nations and stuff. These things already come with their own disadvantages. Given that alts are not allowed on the server, you will have to legitimately give up players to go work there. And there are some very real disadvantages when going and fighting in a siege that you're not directly involved in. So you will be weakening your nation by doing that. So given that's not the focus, the benefits are lower, but the negatives are still there. And I think it's actually going to make it not worth it to do this in the first place most of the time. But you can if you want. So yeah, you can still have a shell/bank name.
And I'll just to answer a question that's not on the list here, but I know will likely be asked here, which is I think what players are worried about, which is, well, if I have a relic, nations who don't have relics, they can just attack me and I can't attack them back. Well, yeah. The relics, to be clear, are going to be very powerful. Like, these effects the relics are going to give you are going to be pretty advantageous, and not just in terms of sieging and PvPing in general. Like, there will be relics that are advantageous for all different aspects of Atlas. And it'll be a cause and effect. Like, you'll get a real advantage from having a relic in your nation, but it'll make you siegeable, not just by nations that can be sieged, but by nations that can't be sieged. And that just makes you a target for a lot of people. And that's a choice for you as a nation. Like, is this effect that I have with this specific relic worth me being able to be sieged? And if it's not, toss it outside the borders of your town and someone else will come grab it. It's as simple as that.
One very important note about this is, by the way, I specifically said the looting threshold where you can steal things besides the relic is only enabled if both nations have a relic. And this is so that you can siege them back. That they can't just take 10% of your stuff and then just leave and you're screwed. No, the relic is the only thing that can be stolen if the nation attacking you doesn't have one. So when a new nation that you can't siege back attacks you, the only thing they can do is steal your relic. And if they fail, then they walk away entirely empty-handed. So they get nothing. They might have sieged you, but they got nothing out of it. So it's not really, no reason to feel unfair because they literally walked away with nothing. Now, on the other hand, if they stole your relic, well, fantastic. You can go steal it right back. So it ends up working out just fine and preventing itself from being unfair. All right, next one. Will the relics all respawn at the same time?
This one's kind of being answered also.
It's still sort of up to debate, but I think we're all leaning towards the idea of yes, because it helps prevent one nation from getting them all again. Can we have Fletchery add wooden training swords that give like 3 seconds of regen that can't be used on enemy? That's a cool idea. We can definitely try and do some of that stuff, add in some of that idea for training purposes. Maybe there's an entire set of training weapons that look like the real thing but can't kill you. They essentially leave you not dead.
Is there a siege limit now if there's relics? No, there's no siege limit anymore.
Sieges are, siege limit will not exist anymore. As a matter of fact, it's never been actually active. It's ironic because this entire mechanic that we were going to release is never going to see the light of day.
With this new siege vulnerability window thing, does this mean that sieges can be initiated any time, even if there's no members online, aka offline raids? Sure, they may set the window at a time, but if they aren't on for, then it's really tough luck then.
Yeah, guys, this is one thing that we've spent a lot of time talking about. If you're going to compete in this relic system, then you will have to spend somewhere between 6 and 12 hours. You'll have to at least have somebody online to be able to mention it. Now, we should know that sieges are going to be broadcasted in the Discord to those involved. You've all noticed those @tags for the nations. The bot will have access to those, and he will ping both people involved. So unless your entire nation goes entirely AFK and is ignoring Discord in a time when you said you wouldn't be, well, then you will know, and you should be able to get people online because you specifically said you'd be able to be online at this time, and you've been warned of. So the idea is to make it so that you can get people online and that you get to dictate when it happens. But yeah, if you have all of your members who you said would be online during the time, they're not online, and they're also not paying attention to anything, then yes, somebody could come in and steal your relic. But this is a better system than what we had before, where you had to have at least one member online, because, well, what's the difference between one member and none in a siege where you're being fully attacked? There really isn't one, except when there has to be one member online. Now, players are literally encouraged not to log on so that you can't be sieged. That is not good. We do not want people to feel like they can't log in for fear of being sieged. And we saw it happen. We saw players legitimately say, I can't log in and play because we'll get sieged. That's not what we want to see. So that's why we've switched to this vulnerability window system that allows you to determine when you'll be attacked and get good warning of it, know when it's going to happen, and then be able to get everyone online. No being attacked in the middle of the night. only being attacked when you say, yeah, I can defend it this time. And you can have it all set when you know you're entirely free or when most of your nation.
Yeah. Let's stop. I guess let's end the discussion with sieges here. It's kind of getting a little stale.
Yeah, we've been talking about them for a while.
So the dev team has put countless of thousands of hundreds of thousands of hours into
Hundreds of thousands. Oh,
about talking about siegings, and we've tried to make them as best balanced as possible. So have some faith, please. Thank you very much.
We love you all.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the questions are getting out of sieges anyways here as we get on the list. So
Yeah.
I can answer this next one here. In the far future, would you consider adding another continent / landmass?
Maybe.
Far, yes. Far in all caps with multiple A's, no. I would say. We will be, this is not a secret. We've mentioned this at several State of the Servers before, but something we always get asked is, will you be adding the Nether? Will you be adding the End? And the answer is yes. We do have plans. But the truth of it is that we will be adding them when we are planning to make new continents. There will be a custom Nether continent. There will be a custom End continent that will have NPC towns. It will feed into the stories. It will have dungeons. It will have the whole 9 yards. Because, the vanilla Nether, the vanilla End, they're cool, but they're not that interesting. Everyone who plays Minecraft has done them before, and the things that are generated, the end cities, the dragon, the wither, they're cool for Minecraft, but we want to make something better, and that's kind of always been our goal with Atlas. Is let's take the tools that Minecraft gives us as a server and make something cooler. Let's make a game that's different, that feels like something that the players haven't played before. And that's our goal with those. So we will be adding another continent. We will be adding an End continent. Maybe multiple. Who knows? It depends, but they will be down the line. And it will sort of all feed into the story of Atlas.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty, on to the next one. Any plans to buff fishing?
No.
Not really. We know that there are some problems where common fish don't sell for anything, and we are looking to fix that. But everything was nerfed on purpose. Now, it might have been nerfed a little bit too much, but it's never going to be as viable of an income source as it was before. Because at the end of the day, fishing is the most mindless, most risk-free task on the server. And because of that, it should reflect that. If you're going to be able to make money in a way that poses no risk and requires zero brain power, it shouldn't be as good as something that requires you to actually really work. So it's never going to be as good as it once was, because we thought it was fairly overpowered. But we can definitely make a few changes to make it just a little bit better.
What the hell is refining?
That's a good question.
I don't know. What is refining?
Probably, is there a leaderboard or something for it?
Yeah, if we're talking about refining leaderboard. So the refining leaderboard, refining is crafting items and stuff in your town, and then also putting ores and stuff in a furnace to get them into their ingot forms. It's refining resources into more advanced ones. So it's exactly what the name suggests, essentially.
Yeah.
But
the next question as well. Crafting town level, that includes crafting item.
The crafting skill, I noticed a lot of the crafting town level skill, it doesn't work right now. You get 0 points for it, which is fascinating. But yeah, I'm going to fix that. I actually don't know why it's not working, but I noticed that nobody has any points in it, so clearly something's not working. But yeah, that'll get fixed. That's just it's on our list. It just hasn't been fixed yet.
More custom crops.
If you guys can give me models of crops, then yes. And I'm not talking send me a picture of a banana. I'm talking show me how you would make it in-game. Because how would you actually represent a banana crop in-game or something like that? Because somebody said, let's add rice. Well, I can't really add a rice model to the game. If you guys have noticed, all the crops are basically blocky. They are blocky crops just by their nature, and that's why it works so well. So if you guys can, do some armor stand manipulation and come up with some ideas for what these crops would look like, then yeah, that's fine. But we can't just add new crops to the game, because coming up with them actually takes a while. It's took me a long time to develop the ones we do have. So it's not hard to add more, and I'd be happy to, but I do need some good input and ideas on how to do it. So make suggestions on the forums, or send me private messages. Let me know. Can decorative blocks be added in as a part of random or gen different?
Not sure what you mean by decorative blocks, but
I think they mean blocks that are not vanilla blocks, like unique retexture blocks, unless I'm looking at that wrong.
I think
Whoever
we're gonna need
asked
more
that.
clarification on
Yeah,
that.
whoever
Yeah.
asked that, let us know what you mean.
Alright, next one.
Are you planning on to reintroduce Fortune or buff Gen in the future to compensate? No. No to both of those.
Guys, enchantments are something that we've been talking about for a long time. They've just been pushed down the list because they haven't been as important. One of the things that we believe is a very important part of our game design is that everything is a choice, and there is give and take to everything. And most MC enchantments don't represent this principle at all, because they weren't made with any real idea of what game design is. When they made enchantments, they're like, hey, we're just going to add this ability that is 100% always worth it and better than not having. There's no other options. There's no choices to be made. It's just, if you don't have this, you're just playing the game with a handicap. And that's not really good game design. Fortune is just basically an enchantment that exists that says, hey, if you don't have this, you're worse. And there's no choice there. There's no options. There's no thinking, no strategy. We like Fortune as an idea on a way to enchant something, but there needs to be an alternative that's just as cool to balance it. Otherwise, why have them? There's no choices. There's no real strategy. So in the future, we have plans to add a whole new array of custom enchantments that will balance out some of the vanilla ones, and we can add them back. But for right now, a lot of the vanilla enchantments are just too powerful, and they have no choices or other strategic options, so we've removed them for now. But that is something that we will talk about in the future, and obviously it's not priority number one for us at the moment, as we didn't mention it on our main features list, but yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay. So clarity on that previous question about decorative blocks. They're talking about things like apparently netherrack, quartz, andesite, granite, diorite. Not like ores, but just other blocks that are not like cobblestone and stone for different regions. So like I think this is what you're talking about, Nuke. For example, like mining in like the ice forest, for example, would give you the chance to get more quartz than another region, or like a certain region you'd have a higher chance to get granite, you'd see the actual spawns as opposed to the ore system where it's like a random, like you mine something and you maybe get diamonds or whatever. It's like you actually would see certain things in different biomes depending on the biome.
But all right, moving on to the next question here. Are the custom crops and brewery interconnected? Can you use them? Yeah, they are actually. They are interconnected. You can use. There's a lot of really important recipes require agriculture crops. So if you have not been experimenting with agriculture crops and brewery, then you're missing out on probably about 50% of the recipe, and there's going to be more to come as well. Now there is a bit of a weird wonkiness with the internal algorithm that's used to decide some stuff. So some recipes are significantly harder to find because they require you to get significantly more. But yeah, so this stuff, there's a lot of crops. Cooking, agriculture, brewery, all this stuff's interconnected. We've been putting a lot of effort towards making sure all the skills and all the stuff on Atlas is interconnected, that you can do, that everything kind of works together, so it feels pretty natural. It feels like the game should always have been that way. But yeah, definitely something to look into for those that have not.
Yeah.
All right.
So
smuggling.
Real quick, we are getting on the 1 hour 45 minute mark. So I think
at 9 we're gonna call it a night. So
Yeah.
if we don't get any questions by then, guys, we apologize. It's just that there's a lot of questions. We could talk about this stuff all day, and if you have any super burning questions, you can let us know later. But back to it. So smuggling. Smuggling was a mechanic that some of you may not be familiar with. It was a mechanic that we had when we were running a very, very rudimentary event system. And you could essentially get illegal items and run them between towns, but you couldn't use fast travel to do it. So players literally had to run across the map and had to really take these very expensive resources and risk losing them to raiders and stuff. We want to have the mechanic back, and we've actually been slowly working on in the background a new, much more robust event system. And when we re-add that event system, smuggling will be returned.
As the person who spent like 200 hours coding the original alpha smuggling, I wanted it back as much as you guys do because I miss it, and it pains
It's a
me every
really
time.
cool mechanic.
It pains me every time I see a smuggler in an NPC town just say "Not today, friend," because I'm like, oh, I know that there's all sorts of coding behind you. It will be back.
But yeah, we're going to get it back, but we're going to change up the way it worked. There were some problems with it before where it was an all-day event, and it meant that it was impossible for anybody to truly watch and try and catch raiders as they're moving items. We really want the smuggling to be high risk, high reward, so we need to make it so the chance of being caught and attacked significantly higher. So we're going to do things like shorten the window that are available in, probably do some announcement of the smugglers and where they are, and then also restrict the number of smuggling items to a very specific amount so that there isn't the ability for everybody to just play in harmony and run their smuggling items. If you don't get them, somebody else will.
Yeah.
So there will be a significantly higher amount of competition around the mechanic to encourage more of the high-risk, high-reward playstyle that we believe smuggling should do.
Is it possible
next-
to push world region?
I think we missed one.
Oh, the
So-
economy rebuff. We've already talked about that a
we
little
answered
bit.
that one. Yeah.
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 So I just
Although I will mention, Biz, I know you had some interesting points about the economy. If you're around, I would love to chat with you afterwards. But let's save it for after Save the Server. We can hop into a separate call and chat because I know you have some.
Alright, so is it possible to push world regen? So this is something that's been really, really wonky for quite some time. The world regen system is complex, and the way it needs to work is fairly complex. It's a matter of fact, I worked on the system for an incredibly long time. It's kind of beyond my programming capabilities to do. There's a lot of multi-threading, asynchronous stuff that needs to happen, and it's not simple. It's somewhat complex to figure out, and so we've passed the project on to Makis, who is our programming genius.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of other projects too, and again, this just isn't quite that simple. So it is being worked on. It's just impossible to know when it will be ready.
Yeah.
It's just really tough stuff. We are talking about massive data collection and dealing with a massive amount of stuff going on. It's just hard. So world regeneration is one of our top priorities. It's just really tough right now. So yeah, world regeneration is not currently running, and we know that things aren't reappearing, and it kind of sucks to see the world starting to decay. Well, one note, every single block broken is actually still being logged. Every single thing is logged. There are tens of millions of blocks that you guys have changed, and every single one of them is logged. However, at the same time, there is a possibility it might throw that entire database out in favor of a more random regeneration system. But yeah, it's being worked on, but we apologize if it hasn't been around. It's tough. It's really tough. There's been more than 4 or 5 versions of regeneration, and it's always been a headache. Okay, on the next one. Given the gems will not be easier to get, do you have any ideas to stimulate player trading? So player trading is one of these fascinating things that we've spent hours and hours and hours talking about, and we've come to the final conclusion that player trading is never going to be a main focus of the server.
Yeah.
And the reason we do that is because the ways in which we would have to, the ways that would allow player trading to actually be necessary and big would require us doing things that we don't want to do. One of those big things is allowing players to lock down the resources in biomes so that nobody else can access them. Does that sound like fun? I know someone will say yes, but most of you are probably saying, no, I would really prefer that somebody not be able to lock me out of all the resources in a biome, especially if you happen to hang out in that biome a lot. So we can't ever make player trading a priority of the server without encouraging things that we don't want to see. So while we will be adding some systems to allow player trade to be easier, Tier has actually written an entire player trade system. it's never going to be a main focus. And if it's not used as much as you'd wish, we agree. We would prefer it be used more, but we can't find a way to make it be used more without bad practices that we don't.
Yeah. Can we add
Are
tea,
we
please?
getting the tea?
Nice.
Are we
Yeah,
getting the
that is
rest
a
of the
potential. Yeah, we could.
Right now with brewing, we haven't added any of the non-alcoholic recipes because we wanted to focus on those alcoholic recipes, but we might add some non-alcoholic ones later on.
Yeah. Are we getting the
Uh,
rest of recipes and materials for smelter and tanner? Already answered this as well.
What about taking your items if relics are now? We're not going to talk about the very specifics of all this stuff anymore. If you have any burning questions, again, feel free to message us. I'm going to ignore this next question because it's about missiles.
Answer is
Uh,
no.
Well, technically,
can we
there
add-
we already have something like
Yeah,
this. It's a
called
vanilla
TNT.
mechanic. It's called a ender crystal. Yet you just plop those down and smack them, and people go kaboom. Yeah,
You
All
know,
right.
the ender crystals that you can easily get.
yeah,
Can
definitely.
we introduce? No, can we add lukewarm oceans to the? Yeah, we're gonna do that. It's it was something that we just forgot to do in Generation, and it's kicking us for it. But with everything going on, we just kind of forgot. We are going to go back and do it. It's just it's a bit of an undertaking now, unless we can find a way to make a program that can do it for us, which might be possible, but we'll see.
Yeah. Could the
Um,
plague system be tweaked? Ultimately, animals do nothing until they're killed, so it would be nice to have a panic when a random cow wanders near a pen, fearing that it'll put it over. So the overall plague system, I believe, is getting reworked a little bit. Ajax, if you want to touch on that.
so yeah, I'm going to be changing up the plague system a little bit for some changes. I'm not going to discuss them exactly because if I tell you about the inner workings of the system, somebody might find a better way to abuse it, which I don't necessarily want. But the system will change a little bit. The question I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, because asking for it to be tweaked is one thing, but like ultimately animals do nothing until they're killed, so it'd be nice to have to panic. I mean, like I don't know. I don't know if I think
I think that
interesting.
the question, because I see what this question is saying. I think the plague is not meant to punish players for not paying attention to like stray animals wandering into their pens. It's more meant for like the players who are making like horrible abusive cow farms. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're not interested in like punishing players for not paying attention to like a wild cow wandering into their cow pen and like releasing diabetes on their cows. You know what I mean? Like we want like it's more meant to be a system to counteract animal farms and players really going into that. So we're not really looking to punish players for not like always keeping an eye on their animals.
although we will probably add some animal humane features in there. Because right now I see some rather massive mistreatment of animals that would get us shut down by PETA. So we're probably going to add in some systems that require you to feed your animals. Now, not that you'll have to actively feed them, but like you might want to let your animals hang out on the grass. If you have them in a stone cage, they might die. They might die unless there's some hay around. But that's all I'll say about that one. All right, moving on to the next one here. Have you considered raising the drop rate of tree fruit? They are currently matching apple. All tree fruits drop with the same rate, or at least they're set the same according to what the code says for Mojang. But if you're seeing that apples drop way more, let me know, because it's always possible that Mojang did something stupid, which is a pretty frequent occurrence.
Just really quick for new players, because I know there's a couple new players in here who don't know what the fuck tree fruits are. On Atlas, like in vanilla Minecraft, where there's a chance when you break leaves that apples will drop, on Atlas, different types of leaves will drop different types of tree fruit. So oak leaves, for example, will drop apples, but if you break jungle leaves, they'll drop coconuts. So it's that same drop. There's 6 different types of tree fruits for each of the different types of leaves.
Yep. All right, so on to the next question we got here. Can we get a rework of how bushes, especially and other crops, die after overgrowing for too long? So we'll definitely be. freeing up the system a little bit. I think right now crops die a little bit too quickly, and if people can just confirm that in chat for me if you believe that is true. Because I can just make it so that they die less quickly.
I can
But
confirm.
I'm never gonna make it so that they don't die that way. And the reason that exists is because, well, that's ugly. But the reason that exists is because agriculture crops are very, very server intensive. They make entities. Every single agriculture crop, at least most of them, use an armor stand. Even though it's invisible, it's still there. It causes player lag and server lag. Now, obviously, not really any at all until you have, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So allowing them to die is important. But yeah, if they're dying too often, we can definitely change that. And we can also up the amount of crops that you guys can grow in your towns. Right now, I'm actually more worried about performance on the player side for crops, because it turns out when you have like 500 armor stands in your town, that causes lag on the client, and it's very noticeable. As a matter of fact, I remember some players saying, "Hey, my FPS drops in this location. Why?" It's because there's like 1,000 invisible armor stands in that town that didn't properly disappear. That problem has now been fixed, but yeah, it's just they cause a lot of lag. So as cool as agriculture crops are, they are somewhat limited because of that problem.
Yeah.
Can we get flowers growing in any biome? They're limited like everything else.
This is a little bit of an interesting, I guess not discussion that will happen in the dev team. I have some thoughts about this. Let's not necessarily talk about this because there's some different things that need to be, I guess, addressed and kind of talked about in the dev team before we really have an answer for this, I'm going to say, because there are legitimate use cases for this.
Yeah.
So
this next question, whoever asked this, I got to give props. This is a really fascinating question, and one that, while I don't know how plausible it is, and we'll definitely look into it, is definitely really interesting. The question is, well, not really a question, but it would be nice if we could control certain ambient noises in our own nation land. For example, adding the background voices to a market area. So I think what this person is asking is essentially, can you tie certain ambient noises to certain zones within your town? So for example, if you have a zone that is like your market in your town, you could have like people chattering and footsteps and like, coins clattering, adjust your own ambient noises in a furthering to like, add to your town, make your town unique. I love this idea. I just don't know how plausible it is. We'll definitely look into it. It would require a tie-in with the nation system and the texture pack, obviously. So, but yeah. Whoever asked that, really awesome thinking. I love that idea.
It's definitely possible. It's just you have to have a custom texture pack, and we have to have a way to identify areas that should have those noises. But like we could have like a default town noise when you're inside your town. You hear the bustling of a town and stuff like that. All right, let's see here. What's the next one? Will you commission new dev members to write custom music?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a composer, or you know someone who's a composer, definitely convince them to apply. We are always accepting dev applications.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we can't pay people, so it's not paying. It's just if you like writing music and you think it would be fun to write some music for Atlas, then we would love that. We love it when people donate their time and their abilities to help make Atlas even. But yeah, did you all fix town stewards so a peasant can't disband a town? Yeah, that was a very, very weird bug, but yeah, it's fixed. It's that was a one-time thing, but yeah, don't worry about that stuff anymore. What about the idea of having more relics than? Yeah, we're gonna skip the relic questions. So we know a lot of you have more burning questions, but just let us know.
We're still solidifying the relic system, so we will for sure tell you guys.
That's another one. All right, I'm gonna skip down to this one. Can you still use surrender? No, you can't use surrender. Surrender no longer exists. Can you add sushi? I mean, yeah, sure we can. I think it might already exist. Can you make it so? Can you make it so death and the alcohol effects? Yeah, we can add that. It's not going to be too big a deal, but
I love the counter argument. That's great. A dwarven god makes you stay drunk even after you get rid of
Pull to add.
Ayana to the voice chat or another.
It's a music bot.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're not gonna
sure.
add. We're not gonna add. We're not gonna add like we don't want to have more bots in the main Discord because it leads to more spam and more weird stuff. It's just that's not quite how we want to have the Discord run. And we know a lot of you guys have your own town Discords. That's the perfect place to have your music bots and stuff like that. And we totally support the creation of a town Discord so you guys can organize yourselves. So that would be a good place to do
Ooh,
that.
Ajax, this is a good question. More town levels.
More town levels. Yeah, so it's
Last
capped
question.
at 40 right now. And we can definitely up it more and allow towns to get to higher
Has
levels,
anyone
but
reached? Has any town reached 40?
I think Arias has.
Arias, are you
Right.
40?
Can somebody confirm?
Who has reached level 40?
New Height
New
has
Height
reached
is
level 40.
Okay.
New height is 40.
Okay.
I think Cyclos is close to 40. So we do
Alright.
have a few towns that are up there.
All right, so it is officially the end of State of the Server. We've hit 9, and it is time for us to take off. We will now take, as tradition, our 5 meme questions.
The
Yes.
first of which is, what are we all eating for dinner?
Yeah, almost always it is. All right, so yeah, post your meme questions now. We'll answer 5. Be there first or not. I'm not gonna answer the brothels question because that comes up every single time. What is your dinner? I gotta ask this every time. I had Korean steak tacos for dinner tonight. It was
Ooh,
fantastic.
that sounds
That
delicious. Io, you want to go next?
Oh man, now I want tacos. Oh, I'll probably make a veggie stir fry or chicken
Okay.
stir fry.
That sounds good. How about you, Tier?
I'm eating I guess it's a kind of among the Indian community. It's seen as a fast food. It's called pav bhaji. It's basically like a bread with curry in a way. It's literally hamburger buns that we toast, and then there's like this like potato, peas, carrots mush that you kind of put together with like curry powder and stuff like that. It's absolutely delicious. I love it. Some people won't, but yes, it's really good. That's what I'm having.
All right, T, what are you eating?
I went to Beef Brady's earlier this evening, so I got
Nice.
garlic parmesan boneless chicken basket.
Ah, nice.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh my god,
All
I'm
right,
hungry.
so
Okay,
let's grab the next question here. It's got to be a good meme question.
can we get edible memium?
I don't like that one. I don't like it.
Kelp leaderboard.
Kelp
Can we
leaderboard
get-
is a popular one.
Yeah, that one said a whole bunch. And guys, we're not going to add a kelp leaderboard. Jesus Christ! I mean, it already counts for points. on the leaderboard.
Oceans are OP.
When did you lose your virginity?
That's not going to get
I'm
answered.
not gonna answer that.
What do you guys actually do with your lives when you're not dealing with the Atlas player base? I try and get a degree in engineering. Currently trying to get my computer engineering degree. I also hang out with friends. Cook stuff, all that stuff that you normally do. Girlfriend Atlas more.
Oh god.
So all right, we've got 3. I can't believe we answered kelp leaderboards. So we got 2 more questions. Throw them out there quick, or we're gonna call
Marriage
it a day.
plug and win. might or might not have already started on something. Next
see.
question.
Can we get a plugin to launch annoying nation members into the void? I support this
I
idea.
support this. Can I bribe you with eggs?
Oh yeah. Who also has Easter eggs? Anybody save their Easter eggs?
Oh,
I
actually.
know Long did.
Guys,
All
okay,
right, have you
the
guys
religion
considered
plugin
floating
is
around
cursed.
nations in your free time and doing stuff for a week, kind of get more of a feel and understanding of the. So we don't play, but we have looked at all your nations. But yeah, we can't really play the game. It's kind of unfair since we know everything. But we do secretly look around more than you would expect. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
For those of you asking about religions, we're always working on religions. For those of you that don't know, religions is a cursed plugin. Whatever dev we end up assigning to the religions plugin, shortly after we assign them that project, they get a full-time developer job somewhere. So it's a quote
We're not
unquote.
kidding.
It's a quote unquote curse. It's
So
actually
funny story.
really good.
Guess
So
who's
funny-
looking for a job right now and is also working on the
So-
plugin right now? So
he's gonna be our next religion developer because he
Yeah,
wants a job.
that's true. I'll take
But,
it up after
really
that
hoping
because
to
I
do
want a
that.
job as well.
Yeah,
And then we'll all see you later. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause we'll all be employed.
Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is the end of State of the Server. We answered your meme questions. We answered your real questions. Hopefully, we gave you an idea of what all we've been doing this past few months with the launch. It's been crazy successful. We've had a lot of fun. It's had its ups and downs with some of the stuff we've had to deal with, but overall, this has been fantastic. We couldn't have hoped for a better launch to the server to see everything happen the way it did. So thank you everyone for being here. It's so fun to just be able to scroll and scroll and scroll through all the names of the people who show up to hang out with us and talk about the server. So
Yep.
yeah, thanks to everyone in the community for being a part of Atlas and hanging out with us and enjoying the server. So with that,
thank you guys.
yeah, it's we love doing this. We hope we can continue to do this as long as possible, as long as you guys want us to. So yeah, let's go have fun on the server. Go enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you guys again in 2 months.
Yep.
Alrighty. Talk to you guys later. Good
Yep.
night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, guys.
Alrighty, I'm going to stop the recording there. For those of you, and I'm going to restart it again. For those of you that want to stick around for checking out the magic, kind of how that works and stuff like that, I will be going over that now. I'm going to be starting another recording. Let's see how big that last one was. Oh, Jesus. That's only 8 gigabytes. Whoo! Okay. Right. I'm going to leave the call. It's in announcements long. I'm going to be leaving the call right about now, because I don't want you guys to. I want you guys to fully kind of tune into the stream, and I'll be, kind of talking through the stream. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Peace. Alrighty. Let's see. Chat. If anybody can hear me, somebody type something in chat so I know that people are actually there. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, cool. You can hear me. Everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and turn back. Let's turn on my music here. Okay. And let's make this transition, shall we? Alrighty. So you guys should be seeing a room here. This is my demonstration room for magic. So as you can see here, we have a chest, you know, we have a crafting table right in front of under us. We've got this is the arcane altar. So this is a lapis block right here, and this is our arcane altar. So again, you got the little text saying, "Hey, this is an arcane altar." Right click with a blank spell book to begin chanting. So blank spell books look like this. It's just a normal book with a pretty little name. So let's go ahead and, you know, craft ourselves a spell book, a blank spell book. So if we can, you know, take a book and quill, and we take one piece of lapis, and we get a blank spell book. Cool. Hey, I unlocked a new recipe for a. Ooh, I don't know if that'll show up. Anyways. So now we have a blank spellbook, and we can actually use this blank spellbook to craft our very own spells. So let's see, what's the best way to do this? Let me go ahead and bring up my little cheat sheet, so that I can craft some spells for you guys. So let's go with a basic one. Yeah. So let's go with a basic one. We're gonna go ahead and create a spell called Firebolt, which you might have seen on the server already. So you know, we can just we take this spell book, this blank spell book right here, and we right-click that onto our arcane altar. And as you can see, we get some cool particle effects, and we get some, you know, the floating book right there. So now we're going to put in a couple words. Adara, thank you for hopping on to help me test this. So we put in a word. Cool. You know. Put in another word. Let's see, what else is this spell made out of? This is gold, right? And the last word in this is... So now we have a combination of 4 words here, and this combination is going to create one specific spell book. So now if I shift and I right click again, you'll notice I now have a Firebolt spell book in my main hand. Now, if you notice, if you right click, nothing actually happens. Well, that's because I don't actually have a wand. So currently there's, by the base magic system, there's 3 wands that are added. An iron wand, which has a cast speed of 3, a cast effectiveness of 6, a gold wand that has a cast speed of 4, and a cast effectiveness of 7, and a diamond wand that has a cast speed of 1, but a cast speed of, cast effectiveness of 4. Sorry, I misspoke there. So now we have a firebolt. Now let's craft our own wand. I'm gonna go for an iron wand for now. So this is how I create an iron wand. This is still up for debate. There's some stuff that we might be changing, but for now, this is how you craft an iron wand. It is this specific shaped crafting recipe, so you'll notice that makes an iron wand. Now you can always swap that out. Gold wand, and if I swap this, I now have a diamond wand. Cool. So let's go ahead and make my iron wand. Now to actually cast the spell, I need to hold the wand in my offhand and the spellbook in my main hand. And if I just hop out here, I can cast the spell. Cool. Excellent. Now you'll notice there was some experience cost that happened. There was also a little bit of durability cost on this iron wand. So now we have that. We can cast spells. But how do you go about kind of, you know, changing out the words and seeing what kind of happens, right? Let's go ahead and make Frostbolt, right? So again, we're gonna switch out only one word, okay? We're gonna go 3 again, right? We're gonna go, instead of red last time, we're actually gonna go blue. Then we're gonna go gold and alpha again. So now if I right click, I get Frostbolt. By changing one word, I have a totally new spell. So now if I go in and, you know, yabba dabba doo. So you'll notice that the spell actually travels. Yes, we have different sound effects, different effects. Adara also has hopped online, so he will be kind of showcasing the duel system along with how that system kind of interacts in the world, and how that looks in actual combat. Let's see. Now we can actually go over ancient texts. So ancient texts is how, for now, this is an RNG-based system that we've kind of developed to actually show you guys or teach you guys words. You will learn a few words through quests, but we're also thinking about teaching these through these ancient text items. Ancient text items will give you one word, and they can be obtained through either dungeons or daily quests. Again, nothing's really set in stone. So now, if I have this ancient text and I simply right-click, there we go. I learned a new word. Of course, I already knew this word at this point, but you will see that it flashes across your screen, and it also puts something in chat. So there's one Japanese character because that character is not actually doesn't actually have a Unicode character. It does actually use the enchanting table characters that you see here. So yeah. What else? Yes. What else? What else? I guess Adara, do you have 30 levels? I guess we can show off the duel system. No? Okay, I will give you points. Alrighty, you should have 30 levels now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duel Adara. Right, I'm going to use the magical kit. Now you can see I've invited Adara to a duel. He's accepted my duel, and we will be momentarily teleported. So here I am. Crap. Dara, stay in position. I just realized something. Are these... I need to check. Yeah, these are the new ones. I will be back in 30 seconds. I actually forgot to do a small, quick little thing before I show off this demonstration. So I'll be back in 30 seconds. Alrighty, I'm back. Okay, so I think I've figured that out. So now you'll notice I have an iron wand. I'm wearing some basic Illuminite gear, which is pretty good. We have a couple of spells. We have Bottles of Enchanting and some Stake. So we have Magic Missile, Firebolt, Deathbolt, Dash, Heal, Silence. So I guess Adara and I can go head to head. Now I do have shaders on, so I can't really PvP the best. Oh god. Ooh. God dang, he hit me. So you'll notice I'm concentrating a little bit to try in hopes of hitting Adara. Oof. Oh god. Yes. I silenced him. So you'll notice that my wand actually ran out of durability there. That's actually a pretty big problem that can occur. So you should probably hold on to... Oh no. He silenced me. So you can see there's a couple of differences in how this magic system kind of plays out. It's a little bit faster paced. And it requires some more use of paying attention while you're casting your spells and stuff like that. But do keep in mind, Jesus. Do keep in mind, you'll also notice that the magic cost, or the experience cost for this, is significantly lower. There we go. And as you can see there, my inventory got restored, my experience has not been touched, and so magic is working. Magic is working and duels are working. I should actually show off, Adara, why don't you go ahead and invite me so that they can see the accepting screen, as well as I'm going to just let you kind of kill me so that they can actually see the new features in terms of when you die and stuff like that. Let me know when you hear that. There we go. So you can see I've been invited with the basic kit. I've hit the accept button and I will be teleported in 5 seconds. Now let's see, I've loaded in with the basic kit, iron, you know. Let's run out there and face Dara. There we go. So you'll see, you now spectate the winner for 5 seconds after you lose, and again you get put back. Everything's intact. Everything looks good. So yeah, that is magic and yeah. That is magic, and that is duels a little bit. I might as well show off the Nation Embassy system. So this is very much work in progress, but I have been hard at work making these. So this is what your Nation Embassy looks like. You'll notice if you click, this nation does not have a description set. Cyclos does actually have a description set because I was testing with theirs. It lists your towns, the nation that you're in, the leadership of that nation. It resets this banner. And if you were to click on this, you can actually see the nation description of Aureus, which is Welcome to the Golden Empire. Okay. Words can actually be set by the nation leadership. Either they can set it here by shift clicking on the enchanting table, or you will actually be able to update it from any one of your town stewards. So we just have a couple. These are kind of placed randomly. It actually auto fills this. This is not. It doesn't actually. This is not placed by any one person. The plugin actually goes in and places it. So you can see the placement of these is random. This will be changing the layout of this area. This was just a proof of concept. So yeah, this is the Nation Embassy system. You'll see this is what an empty stall kind of looks like. So if I were to form a new nation, it would show up in one of these lots. Could we get a sound to play if the wand breaks? We could. I can look into that. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into adding that. So again, magic system very much so in a work in progress. But yeah, that's about it. And I just realized that I didn't actually record that magic sequence. Thank you, Dara. Oval Star 2468. Yes, they will be replaced by lecterns once 1.14 is out. I believe. I don't know yet. That is the plan, though. Yeah. I guess I didn't actually mention that you do have to hit right click when you have the wand in your offhand and the spell books in your main hand. It is a right click instead of a left click as it is with the current magic system. I just really didn't like that. So yeah. That's about it. Yeah, so the one who dies, I don't know who you are necessarily. The way this is gonna work, there have been a little bit of talks. Nations in the top 5 or people who in the leaderboards, there was potential talks of that contributing to where your better placement in the embassy. Can duels have a buffer time to load in Naru? Yeah, I can look into making that happen. Yeah, so winning SOTS will get you better placements. Yeah. Which is why we aren't releasing the Nation Embassy system, although it's technically ready. We want to integrate and work on some more stuff a little bit. Oh right, bring your own gear. I don't have anything in my inventory, so yeah, go right on ahead. If you want to invite me, or I can invite you, Adara. There we go. So let's go accept. Yeah, buffer time. I will add that. It's a good idea. So as you can see, don't have anything in my inventory. My inventory will be saved. Oh, Dara doesn't have anything in his inventory either. Oh, that's another thing. You'll also notice there's a arena chat now that's only between you and the person that you're facing. So there we go. And you'll notice my inventory has stayed intact. My game mode is still intact. Cool. Yeah, bring your own gear works. If you had some sort of durability based item, it will restore that durability item, so it will not actually use the durability on that item. Yeah, duels is pretty much functional. I'm hoping to have it on this server with just the basic kit and the bring your own gear kit. If not, probably by next weekend, so that you guys can start testing stuff out, making sure everything works for the tourney code. Yeah, one in the chamber kit, maybe. I could do that. There's some fun stuff that we can do. We can also do bare bones. Bare bones is a fun kit to, always a fun kit to actually play with. Bare bones it's a meme kit. There's a bunch of meme kits that we can definitely do, and it'll be fun to do. Why does Arena kill my FPS? Will this be a lot worse with Magic? Well, with 1.14, the particles have been kind of fixed. So the performance, client-side performance in terms of 1.14 is a lot better, although the server-side performance isn't. So you should see an improvement in terms of particles when doing magic. Yes. Thank you, K is how you say it, right? Thank you. Alrighty. If that's it, I am going to. Thank you. Yeah, I spent a fair bit of time on that, cranking that out. Call me a madman if you will, but I was not happy with the current system, and I decided to take it upon myself to change it. So yeah, experience cost is a little bit lower because there's also a durability cost now. There will be a wand breaking sound. It'll sound very similar to, I guess, a pickaxe breaking or something like that. Yeah. Other than that, that is the magic system. Do we need tome texture? It would be nice to have a tome texture. So if you could do a tome texture, that would be fine. Ancient texts are not. I don't think we're gonna texture those any way differently. Blank spellbooks, not really. Don't really want a new texture for that. Neither for spellbooks themselves. Again, they were models because of this texture pack. They basically look like normal books. What else? What else? That's pretty much it. Yeah. Magic system, duels. Yes. Yes. The ancient texts will, give you this. They do have a potential to give you the same spell. Again. The reason for this again is RNG. It's just replayability. So that we can make them a part of, dungeon loot or daily quests. And it's, it's a time investment that you have to put in to really learn magic to the full extent, to actually, cast more powerful spells. Now, there are a lot of words out there, and you can cobble them together in any way, shape, or form. The words that I gave you or showed you earlier, those are not the words. Those are just filler words. But the magic system, you can put any number of words together. You can put any combination of words together. It's highly, highly sophisticated, very, very diverse. And really the possibilities are pretty much endless. Yeah. They are not. The real words can confirm just random jargon that we kind of just put out there. Any other questions? No, we will not. We will not be releasing a number of words. The problem with that is it kind of gives it away, effectively, with magic. So we're not going to be releasing a set number of set number of words. Yeah. Now keep in mind, right? Okay, I gotta. So keep in mind the spells that I showed you, Firebolt and Frostbolt. Actually, I should hold on. Oh, 1 second. I hear family calling me. I will be back in 30 seconds again. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to answer something. So now, if I were to go and try and make another spell, right? Let's take the base, I guess the base words for Firebolt, right? I should mention, you're not limited to only 4 words to create a spell, right? For example, if I were to go and let's say I wanted to make Firebolt again, right? But I'm going to switch out 1 word, and it's not going to necessarily become 1 spell, right? So, let's see, what words did I use again? So, we're going to go 3 red, gold. We're going to use alpha. Actually, instead of alpha, so here I would put alpha and that would become a Firebolt, but I don't necessarily want it to become alpha, right? I don't want it to become Firebolt, so I'm going to put in beta, for example. And now I have 3 red, gold, beta. So now this... Oh. That made magic missile. Wait a second. I was not expecting this. I think I messed something up. Huh. Well, I guess my magic system surprised me as well. Well, so there we go. That is, I guess that is the magic of this system, right? You can put words in, and you have no idea what you're gonna spit out. I'm not entirely sure what to say here. Yeah. So I just put random words in, and I got something totally different. Let's try this again. Oh, I know why this happened. Ha 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 ha. And yeah, let's go beta this time. So now let's see. This has a name 3 red diamond beta, and I'm gonna go cast a spell. Whoa. What happened there? So I noticed that did something that looks very much like Firebolt, but it's not necessarily Firebolt, right? Because it doesn't actually have the Firebolt name. So some very interesting things can happen there. Yeah. What's the resource pack? It's yeah, you theoretically could. Now, what will happen is the different spell effects will also create a higher cost. Yeah, I guess, in a way. They will create a higher cost, not only XP-wise, but also durability-wise. Yeah, there's different things that can change what happens when you cast your spell. Different words do different things to the spell. I'm not going to necessarily reveal that because, you know, that's kind of ruining the fun of it. But different things, different words, putting different combinations in, different words in general, will make a different spell. Cool. Yeah, so that's the magic system. That's the duel system. That's the embassy system. I think that puts it at a wrap. Yes. Again, thank you guys for joining us for State of the Server, and thank you guys for sticking through this. And I guess I will see you guys next time on the State of the Server, where hopefully I can show off more cool stuff. Yeah. And with that, I'm gonna end the stream here. Alrighty, see you guys.